appear to be live now. Hello, everyone. As you've all correctly been able to infer, it was not my fault that we were late. It was the one and only late Lord Haven, but I'm here only a minute late, thanks to great effort. We are back to discuss Season 3, Episode 5 of House of the Dragon, Unbowed and Unbent. Hi, Haven. How are you?
I'm unbroken right now.
Oh. Well,
Unlike
that
the
makes you the
episode.
only one in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me again, Quinn. It's funny how that you feel bad about being late after 1 minute. It makes me think of like when a train is late by 1 minute in Japan and they do this big formal apology and they like
Oh,
recompensate
do they
everyone.
really?
And then in England, the train's always like half an hour late and I just like deal with it.
Imagine having trains. That would be nice.
Trains are cool.
I agree.
Come to England.
Someday.
I'll,
I'm glad I didn't
I'll
come for
train
the
you.
play this week. Did you hear about that?
No.
The first 4 shows of the play got canceled. It was supposed
Oh,
to
I
premiere
see,
on
yes. Oh,
Monday,
no, I
and now
did
it's
hear it.
premiering on Saturday.
Yes, I did. First 4. I heard the first 2 got cancelled.
It was the
Oh,
first
have they-
2 initially, and then the day before, there was supposed to be a show, I think, tomorrow and Friday, and then yesterday they canceled those 2.
I wonder why.
I don't. From what I've heard, I think they've cited the reason as like very complex technical elements. There's like on-stage jousting and all of these things, and apparently this isn't unusual for like this type of play to have
Okay.
these delays. But
Well,
I feel bad for
I'm
those who
seeing
traveled to be there.
I'm seeing it late next month, so
You should be in
it
the
should
clear.
all be perfect. It should be because it'll also be like post the official opening, right?
When
Beyond the
George announces
pre-show, so-
wins, yes.
Exactly, and everything would have been fine tuned.
Anyway, enough about a play that people aren't going to get to see. What did you think of this episode?
Yeah, let's talk about something else that also doesn't have Conningtons in it. I really, really liked this episode, even though it wasn't a huge climactic battle episode or a conceptual episode. It was a lot more low key, but I really, really enjoyed it. I saw it as a sort of better version of episode 2. Of episode 4. The previous
Episode
episode
4
was
plus.
a setup.
Yeah.
This one was a transition episode, but it wasn't a smooth transition. It was kind of almost like deliberately messy. There were so many scenes and so many small scenes, and it was very jittery and a bit chaotic. And I saw that as intentional. Like the whole episode felt like it was tense. There was this aura of paranoia and this feeling of being lost. What with Alicent and Alicent and Helena literally lost in the secret tunnel. Aegon and Aemon sort of lost mentally. Rhaenyra lost politically, but then within the darkness and the confusion, there's resolve. There are characters who are unbowed and unbent. Aegon sort of reclaiming his kinship, Aemond healing in Harrenhal, Rhaenyra trying to get to grips with unrest in the city.
Helena
Alicent and
not
Helena,
bending to her mother's demands.
exactly, and of course to take the title literally, they're the first 2 words of the house words of House Martell: unbowed, unbent, unbroken, and that links into what Ormond talks about later, where he's taking inspiration from the Dornish and how they used, in his words, cunning, military cunning, to go up against a greater foe that had magical flying beasts. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself there, but I thought this was a really great episode, and maybe I'm just in a good mood, but for me, this is like a high 8/low 9. I'm going with low 9 for now. I thought the dialogue was exquisite and the pacing was really good, and yeah, I really liked it.
I agree, which is tradition here. I thought that it was, again, very similar to episode 4. It made me like episode 4 slightly less, I think. I think that this one was a bit more thematically cohesive. I really liked the through line of Kristen and Gwen's death march, and I felt like it really built tension very organically throughout, and I really enjoyed it, and I love the characters and their dynamic. Gwen is a character who has outlived and improved on his book version, I would say 1,000,000 times over by this point. The only thing I think was strong on episode 4 is I really liked how much Ormond and Daeron we got there. I loved their one scene here, but I think I just want to see more of them because I've missed having Daeron in this show the entire time. But yeah, I think my episode 4, I'd previously given an 8. I think retroactively it's probably objectively a 7. I was blinded by the John Connington on offer. This one, I think, probably solid 8 for me. I think it's only behind Rhaenyra Triumphant right now, which obviously kind of stands on its own. And that's not to say I don't have any issues with this episode. There are a few things that I'm a little hung up on. One thing in particular that keeps happening this season that I'm not a fan of in terms of how much it's happening.
Yeah, I've got some issues too, make no mistake. But I want to talk about the title very briefly, because I think there are two reasons it is what it is. If we give the writers the benefit of the doubt, it's that, as I mentioned before, the characters are unbowed, unbent, they're reclaiming their strength, but the word unbroken is deliberately missing because these characters are inherently broken. However, if we don't give the writers the benefit of the doubt, you can imagine that they did want it to be called Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken until they realized that was the name of one of the worst episodes of Game of Thrones.
Famously terrible.
5, episode 6, I think.
Yes, that is correct. Which, for those who are less in the weeds as compared to us, that is the one with Ramsay and Sansa's wedding. That is understandably one of the most critically panned episodes of the series. I think it is the worst episode outside of those final 2 seasons. It might be worse than anything in season 7 on its own. But also I have weird feelings about season 7 generally.
It's also got the fight scene with the sand snakes versus Bronn and Jaime.
Which I think probably part of the source of the name there. And it is good to kind of reclaim it from that a little bit because, like, obviously that name is bad. I did the studio tour of Game of Thrones in Ireland a few years ago, and I almost bought a House Martell shirt, but it had their house words on it, and I didn't want it to be associated with the episode. So I chose the Baratheon.
Damn. Oh my god.
Yeah, so
that's just depressing.
I could have maybe reclaimed it now, so I'll have to go back and get that one.
Hot D has reclaimed the house words in honor of House Martell.
But yeah, let's get into the episode proper. I should also say thank you all for the super chats we've received already. If you have any thoughts, feel free to share them that way. We'll probably end up reading those out at the end of the video before the spoiler zone and the bingo, just to make sure we have everybody in by then. Also, be sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Fantasy Haven, all of that typical YouTube stuff. As we get into our first scene, this little chat in the tent between Roddy and Mr. Oscar Tully, a.k.a. Car Stark and Robb Stark. It's nice to see more of them. Oscar is a character I thought was very underrated last season. I loved his dynamic with Daemon, and I do hope we see more of it. Roderick, I continually find myself wanting to see more from. This is effectively his second scene. He was in episode 2 as well, but, like, he was part of a group singing a song and didn't really have any lines on his own, but, like, I don't know. He's a very cool character. He's got a lot of aura. I'd like to see that aura.
Yeah. He's very good at leaving a big impact without doing or saying much, just from his performance alone, really. Like that line where he's like, they flit about us like deer flies. He says it with such like disgust in that heavy northern accent. I just thought, oh, it's such a good performance. But yeah, we need more of him. And also, like, he hasn't even been name dropped. 80% of the
Oh my god, you're right. Holy shit.
He's a Stark. I did a normie live stream a few days ago with my friend Alex, who hasn't read Fire and Blood, and they just assumed this was a Stark because no one's name dropped him as Roderick Dustin or even Roddy the Ruin. I need to see more of him. In fact, I want to see more of just the Riverland host. I want to see more River Lords. I want to see Black Alley should have been in this scene. Like,
agreed. I like that he has the axes, obviously being a Dustin. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
And Oscar's doing a really good job of, like, being authoritative and in charge, but also, like, this is a young person. This is not like this isn't like a 30-year-old playing a teenager. This is like actually a teenager. So it's a lot more,
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see more of them in the very near future, given that, like, Kristen's army at the end of the episode seems to be headed on a collision course for them. I do think that next episode will be a good one for both of these characters, but yeah, I don't know. I can't believe he's not been name dropped. I did not realize that.
Yeah, he hasn't been name dropped. Black Alley hasn't been name dropped. But we do see.
Neither has Sabbatha Frey, has she?
I don't think she's been name dropped as Sabbatha.
She's just like a Frey. Lady Frey.
I don't even know if she is still technically Sabbatha or not. It's very confusing. But yeah, I've been complaining that I want to see the Riverlords from season 2 come back to kind of make this Tully host feel more alive. Like, I do want more scenes with the Tully host. I want this show to feel more like a war, because one of my few criticisms of the show is that, like, it low-key doesn't even feel like like the realm is at war. It feels like there are battles happening here and there, but I don't get the sense that this is an apocalyptic, climactic war in any way. But
We got a little bit of
surprisingly,
that this episode, yeah. You got your wish, but kind of a monkey's paw.
but like surprisingly, we got Lord Piper.
My goat.
Who, if for those who don't remember, the person who Kristen stabs at the start of this episode is in season 2. He's part of the cluster of Riverlords who hate Daemon. There's a Lady Mallister, there's a Lord Mooton, there's a Lord Darry. Obviously, we see Lord Bracken, we see Blackwoods, we see Freys. We also see a Piper, and he rocks. And like he came on screen, I was like, oh, they brought him back from season 2. Cool. Just immediately assassinated. But yeah, it was cool to see him. Although, all right, this is very nitpicky, but that's not. Pipers don't look like that. I'm sorry. Pipers are redheads.
Oh,
Pipers
are they really?
redheads. Yeah, Lord Piper described.
There's only room in my heart for one redhead house.
Quellen, especially. Oh, whoops! I dropped something. And one redhead house specifically in the Riverlands as well. Oh, you mean Connington?
I was talking about Connington. I remember reading some theory a while ago that the Tullys aren't like typically redheads, and that was like a Went thing. But
I looked into this because I've got my Tully video on the back burner, back burner. Oh my god, there's so much I'm working on. But yeah, no, it's not, because Oscar and Kermit are described as having red hair all the way back in dance. So I get the impression that it's reddish brown, and then I didn't know
Kermit had any hair.
Too. Well, no, he's got some green going on. He's got some green follicles. But yes, no. What I was going to say is the guy who plays Piper, doesn't he look like a Blackwood? Doesn't he look like Titos Blackwood from?
I could see it, or like an older Hoster Blackwood.
Yes,
Hoster Blackwood is in the running for my favorite one-chapter characters in the books.
He's the son, right?
Yeah, he squires with Jaime in his one chapter in A Dance with Dragons.
Is he the one who gets sent off to King's Landing?
I don't know. I know he doesn't go with Jaime and Brienne, I don't think. So he might just be floating around in the Riverlands.
Because one of the Blackwoods gets sent off to King's Landing.
I don't think that's Hoster.
As well as one of the Bracken daughters, and they might be setting up some kind of.
I think you're right.
Star-crossed lovers. Yeah.
That's so
anyway.
Cool.
That's enough Blackwood Bracken discourse.
Yeah. We get a tactic, recur from Game of Thrones here, the 20 good men strategy. And it's nice to see it like actually in action and executed in a way that's not just like a cartoon, and it's not like destroying Stannis' entire army instantly.
Yeah, just everything burning immediately. The war's now over. Yeah, no, it's they dive in, they throw some torches in, they assassinate some people, then they melt into the trees. And they're not wearing armor so that they can be faster. Yeah, It was a fun bit of guerrilla warfare.
Yes, it was. Did we actually? I wasn't sure about that. I think Kristen just doesn't have his armor anymore, does he? I think he left it behind when the horse died.
Yeah, the last time we see it is after he kills the horse. I think when they realize they're just going solely on foot, they just go ditch the armor. We'll be faster. We won't be weighed down. Yeah.
Probably for the best, especially since they're about to ford a river.
Yes.
But yeah, after this, we get brought back to Harrenhal. This isn't quite the first scene we see there. We first see Alice doing a haunted house thing and throwing a stone and scaring people with bats. But then we catch up with Aemond, who wasn't in the last episode. He was recovering from his wound from one of Sir Simon's sons. And we now see, interestingly, he's like in the bed that Daemon was in. He's recovering. And I really found it interesting that we're not seeing his visions as we did Daemon. Because that was obviously a very contentious point of last season. I liked most of Daemon's visions last season, with the exception of the last one with the like Bloodraven Weirwood shit. But it gave me an interesting impression here where like it didn't feel like Aemond is a viewpoint character, kind of. It kind of feels like Alice is our view on all of this. We're not in Aemond's head. We're not experiencing the dreams with him, but we hear him talk about them, like Aegon burning and pulling him down. It's cool shit. I love it.
I'm disappointed by it.
Agreed.
I want to see the visions.
You're worried about your bingo, and I am too.
It's not about the bingo. It's not all about the bingo. No, I wanted to see some proper visions. I'm worried that like the pendulum swung too far the other way, as often happens, where the writers saw the backlash to the Damon visions and maybe misinterpreted the criticisms and went, okay, screw it, we're not doing any visions whatsoever. It's like, no, the visions were cool. There were just maybe one too many.
Yeah.
Or like they weren't balanced enough with Damon doing Riverland's plotting. Like it kind of just became a bit tiresome. But I did like a lot of the visions, and I like the concept of a character, a wild card character like Damon or Aemond going through an arc because they're forced to face their inner demons due to the trickery of Alice Rivers and the castle of Harrenhal itself, which is kind of like a character, like the castle of Gormenghast in the Gormenghast trilogy. But yeah, no, I hope we get some visions, but based on behind the scenes stuff from Ryan Condor, it sounds like that we've gone past that. Aemon's had his kind of like, we'll hear about it through him, but we won't dive into his head, which is a shame. You know, in season 2, when Damon sees Aemond, but it's Matt Smith in an eye patch.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if we had the reverse?
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know if I've already said this.
I don't think you have. I like it.
Sees Damon, but it's just like Ewan Mitchell
with two
both eyes in a Damon wig, doing a Matt Smith impression.
This was, I think, my favorite performance we've had from Ewan Mitchell in an episode. Like, he's so different because Vhagar isn't here. Vagar's off flying somewhere. We hear rumors about her movement throughout the episode, but I feel like this is the first time we really see Ewan Mitchell, the older actor for Aemond, embodying what he was as a kid too, because I found his arc when he was younger very compelling, especially in how it contrasted his life before and after acquiring the biggest weapon on the planet. I just really liked it, and I loved the special effects on his eye as well. Like, it looked so cool the entire episode.
Yeah, it's looked good since season 1, but
oh yeah,
they definitely done something new to it. It looks so real,
and it moves more, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and like the like the shining, the lighting work they do with the eye. I'm not sure what they're doing, but it's incredible. I'm with you. It's cool to see Ewan Mitchell give more range, because he's really good at the kind of stoic, badass, trying to be an anime protagonist thing. But like, he is so vulnerable this episode. So it reminds me of how vulnerable Daemon was last episode, confronting Rhaena or Ray Nettles. But yeah, I thought it was excellent, because I think I know where his arc is going for the rest of this season, and that will be because Daemon kind of had his own mini arc, didn't he? Of like kind of accepting that not everything's about himself, and accepting to sort of support Rhaenyra's claim and to resolve some internal issues he had with Viserys and sort of stuff like that. With Aemond, I think this arc is going to be about him discovering who he is without Vhagar.
Yes.
Because there seems to only be two sides to Aemond, which is scared little bullied kid and then powerful warrior on Vhagar. It's like, okay, what happens when you take his dragon away from him? Literally, who is he? He doesn't seem to know. So while Vhagar's out eating villagers, like, I'm really intrigued to see where Aemond goes.
I will also say, I think if I were making a bingo card for the rest of the season right now, I think it'd be really, really cool if, to symbolize this arc of Aemond kind of realizing himself a bit more, he doesn't put the eye patch back on. We just get more of the sapphire eye. I'm sure it'd be more SFX budget, but
yeah, I was gonna say, I think the eye patch is probably a saving grace for the production team. Because it means they don't have to spend money every single time his face is on screen.
Also, pretty notable book change here. For this entire portion of the war, Aemond is on Vhagar, burning the Riverlands for no reason whatsoever. But it seems like maybe Vhagar's just doing that on her own at this point.
Yes, because we know in Fire and Blood we hear of Aemond burning some Riverland stuff. And here it's there's some kind of disconnect between Vhagar and Aemond. Maybe I mean, Alice sort of teasingly is like, maybe Vhagar's scared. It's possible Vhagar could be scared of the old god's magic of Harrenhal, or because Aemond sort of, I guess, kind of fell into some sort of coma. He's having these kind of feverish visions and dreams. Maybe there's like the bond is slightly disconnected, and Vhagar's sort of going.
Vhagar's like the id, like the unconscious, destructive wrath within Aemond.
Yeah. Now, Okay, I will make a note actually because that's something
We're
I'd
making
like
a
to
note,
discuss
people.
for spoiler
Note
corner.
this.
I'd like to discuss Vagar for spoiler corner.
Agreed.
Yes.
But yeah, it's an interesting change, and I do like it. I think it's more interesting and, makes more sense than Aemon just, like, burning an entire region for no reason for, like, literally half the war.
Yeah, see, that's the issue with Fire and Blood, and why I'm a bit confused. Where some people are like, you must adapt Fire and Blood 100%. It's like you can't because there are entire bits where characters either disappear, when they should be doing stuff, or they're just doing nonsensical things because George didn't want them in a certain place at some time. Like at this point in the book, Aemond is doing nothing useful, even though Kristen's army needs help and Ormond's Hightower host needs help, and he's having us drop in the Riverlands. Actually, having him out of action and then giving him an arc to go through and having him build some sort of dynamic with Alice is way more interesting and makes way more sense. Like,
Also, other parts in Fire and Blood,
yeah.
people are doing 3 things at the same time because we have varied accounts.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I'm interested.
How would
to
that
see where
show
he's
have
gonna
worked
go.
out? Like, what if they kept the perspectives of Fire and Blood? I heard that was pitched at one point.
I'm wondering how they would do it. Would they have like the scene happen, and then it would just like smash cut to like the start of the scene again, but it just goes a different way?
It'd be like that episode of Community. I think that'd be pretty cool.
No, I reckon they would have it that it would be a narrator.
I
They
bet
would have
you're right.
three narrators, and then they would interrupt after a scene, and Mushroom would be like, "No, that's not what happened. This is what happened," and then it would. Conceptually, it's fun, but there's no way that would have not been annoying after the first episode.
I guess. Oh, I never put that together. We can get to this a little. Is Helena next? Kind of. Yeah, this is on topic for next scene. We'll move into Orwyle and Alicent and Helena stuff. The worst part of Fire and Blood, the brothel queens, obviously not going to get adapted because it didn't happen. But like, end result, Helena is pregnant, and Mushroom does speculate that Helena was pregnant. So I could see that as part of Condal's justification.
Yeah. Pregnant with a girl or a boy, we don't yet know. Maybe when it's confirmed, we can have spoiler chats about the links to the book. But yeah, we're moving from we're moving from the goat of Harrenhal to the goat of the Red Keep, that being
The
Orwyle,
goat of the
who is
series,
just,
frankly.
the goat of the just everyone's friend, everyone's ally.
The one good person in this show.
Arguably, I feel like we don't know enough about him. I think
feel like we've seen him enough at this point.
He's just trying to keep his head at this point.
Yeah.
But yes, we learned that we learned last episode that Helena's pregnant, and here Alicent is taking control of things, saying, "Okay, we're going to get rid of it because if it's a male claimant, worst case scenario, Rhaenyra will kill it. Best case scenario, she will basically hold it hostage. And yeah, what kind of a life is that?" So Alicent's like, "Let's do what Rhaenyra did, do what I did."
Everybody's doing it. All the cool kids are doing it.
All the cool kids are doing it, and it's for free if you're friends with Orwyle. But yeah, Helena doesn't want it. She's
I heard Jon Snow in her delivery there.
Yes, yeah. So I wasn't the only one who like chuckled to myself and said, "I don't want it." When Helena, yeah,
I never have.
I can never hear that phrase again.
Especially in this show, delivered by a Targaryen.
I don't want to, Alicent. I never have.
I do. I think this episode is my favorite Alicent episode since season 1, and I think I saw season 1 Alicent in especially this scene, like her advocating for Helena to do this. Like, to me, Alicent is at her best and most compelling when she is advocating for her family's interest in a very strong way, yet simultaneously in a way that family does not necessarily they themselves want or would actively harm them. And I think it's really cool, and I think it makes much more sense for the character than her selling both of her sons up the river. And yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with Alicent this episode for the first time since, I would say, end of season 1.
Yeah, I've got no issue with Alicent's storyline here. I think it's in character. I think it's it's very depressing and it's very cynical, but it makes sense why she wants to do what she wants to do. I'd be fine with this happening within an arc of with an Allison arc that's closer to it is in Fire and Blood. You know, my
Mm-hmm.
issue with Allison isn't an episode to episode basis. It's more just the overall trajectory that I don't like. So I'm just never gonna like her character fundamentally. But I thought she was good this episode, and this is probably the one of the best Helena episodes too.
I
Because
think it is the best Helena episode.
yeah, actually, like it's good to see some. You know, she is a character who is almost has the least agency
Mm-hmm.
out of all of the women on the show. And she's kind of treated a lot as like a, you know, an object to be moved around and pushed around, and she's very spacey and out of it a lot of the time. And this time she's like, no, I am making a choice.
Yeah.
I'm with child and I want to keep it. You know,
It's her first time having agency in the show, really. And I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think it is.
this episode we saw different sides of all three of the Green kids, which I really liked.
Yes, we did, and we had all. We'll get onto it later, but what I liked about Aegon and Aemond is how they both seem to be under the impression that Alicent loved the other.
I
son more.
love that. That is so
you're-
siblings.
And you can't help but wonder if maybe in Helena's head, she's also thinking to herself, you know, oh, Alicent,
The boys got so
know,
much more
she's-
attention.
yeah. The boys have it better.
How far along do you think she is with this child? I've seen a lot of different estimates thrown around, and it's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. I mean, I can't profess that I'm an expert at this thing, but like she could be like a couple of months pregnant. I also don't necessarily know how much time is meant to have.
That's my
occurred
issue. I don't know
since
how long it's supposed to have
season one?
passed. Rook's Rest is obviously like the event that we need to measure from.
Yes, yeah, it needed to happen pre Rook's Rest, and
But like with
mean,
Aegon's level of recovery, I would expect that to be at least a few months that have passed.
yeah, I have no idea.
Neither do I.
One of my patrons is a midwife, so I should probably ask her
That's yeah.
how realistic.
Good to have
is
one of
it
those as a
within this time-
patron
Yeah,
in case of
within this time
emergency.
frame.
There's also the obvious factor of like in one of the trailers for the season, there's a shot where it looks like Helena's giving birth, and she doesn't seem to be at that point yet.
Yes, there's that shot, which some people are like, is that a vision?
A
Is that
vision?
dream?
I
It's
don't
like,
know. I don't know.
no, it's probably. Yeah, my guess would be.
My guess would be
And we
Rhaenyra
can't-
season 1, episode 10.
Yeah. And we can speculate on that because this is not a Fire and Blood thing.
Yes,
So,
correct.
like,
Because
there's no-
Helena is not pregnant in Fire and Blood, so we are, and
Yeah,
we don't know
Mike-
what's going on. So
I imagine this show will have an early birthing scene, either naturally or maybe accident. Or
getting
or
back
maybe,
to its roots in season 1 of giving us a birth scene.
Yay.
I didn't mind. The one in the first episode,
Fun.
at least, I really thought was well utilized.
Yeah, I've talked about this before, and again, this could be a thing for spoiler chat, but like, I hope this subplot doesn't just turn into torture, PORN.
I agree.
For Helena.
I think
Or
I had
sa-
that
or-
same concern in the video I did on like Maelor and this concept specifically.
Yes. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Do we have anything else
We
on
shall
this
have-
scene, or should we continue?
Let's move on. I got some spoilery thoughts, but we can continue. But yeah, no, Alicent and Helena, it's a good episode for them. It's good to see them
Yeah.
do more.
And then we have the recurrence of at least one character I didn't think we were going to see again. We have Sabbatha Frey, who we saw negotiate with Jace last season, has arrived in the Red Keep and is now apparently on the Small Council in a role of some unknown, quantity and job status. But she's on the council, and it's pretty cool. I mean, what? We have Hand of the King Corlys, we have Mistress of Whispers, Massaria, we have Master of Coin, Torin, Daemon, unclear, but he is sitting where Master of Laws has traditionally sat. That's where Lionel and then Ironrod sat.
And he has in the past been.
Yes.
He has served as Master of Laws. I think we could say he's Master of Laws.
I would say that's very safe, and I'd assume, given that we don't know anything about the duties of the Master of Laws, that like being in touch with the Gold Cloaks a significant amount does come up in that.
Yeah.
So is Sabbatha the Master of Ships?
My guess is that Alan
Lord
is
Commander of the
serving
King's
as-
Guard.
Yes, definitely. No, my guess is that Alan of Hull is serving as both acting hand and also Master of Ships.
Yes.
Because it makes sense that the first mate of the Valerian fleet would have that role. I think Sabbatha Frey is in a purely ceremonial position. She's a minister without portfolio. She's a generic advisor as recompense for being stripped of the promise of Harrenhal. Because I complained about this last week. I can't remember if it was in my review or on the live stream or both.
I think review.
But I said,
I don't remember us talking
yeah,
about it.
because Rhaenyra was like, "Oh, let's grant Harrenhal to whoever can kill Aemond," and I thought, but last season Jace gave it to the Freys. I hope the writers haven't forgotten that. But that was me not being respectful to the writers. They did remember, and Rhaenyra was like, "Fuck it, Jace made that promise. I didn't, and I desperately want Aemond to die. So yeah, I'll hand it to whatever sellsword or hedge knight can kill him." And to apologize to you, Lady Frey, have a council position, which is a big reward.
Oh yeah,
it's not as big as. Well,
the biggest
holding
castle in the
Harrenhal,
Riverlands.
even
Or
if it is a
Westeros.
giant, even if it is a giant money pit and a white elephant. But I hope that it's brought up in a significant way that Rhaenyra now has 2 female council members, because this is one. This doesn't happen in Fire and Blood, and it is utterly unprecedented, with the exception of Good Queen Alysanne, who was the queen.
Well, Mysaria is the
especially-
Mistress of Whispers in Fire and Blood.
But she never sits the council. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Is that
It's
true? I
not
thought
an
she
official.
did.
I'm gonna. Okay, I'll double check. I might be getting confused with just Tiana of the Tower. who
I
was
think that's what you're
unofficial.
thinking of.
Okay, fair play. Did she officially sit the council? I'll look it up. Oh, the Wiki of Ice and Fire, which of course can't possibly be wrong in any way. It says unofficial Mistress of Whisperers.
Okay. Huh.
I don't think Rhaenyra had a woman sitting her council.
Interesting.
Because that is unprecedented, with the exception of Alysanne and Cersei. And having not just 2 women, but also a bastard in the form of Alan, because Rhaenyra refuses to legitimize him, that's a huge deal. The Queen of Bastards has stuffed women and bastards on her council. Ormond should be running with this propaganda 100%. I hope that it's addressed, because
Agreed.
I don't know why it's not Lord Frey on the council.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Other than the fact that Lady Frey from last season was clearly the more interesting of the 2, the more authoritative, the more dominant. But I hope that's just explored more. But yeah.
Also, to address the caption, I feel like Rhaenyra keeps walking out of council meetings and nothing keeps happening. Like nothing gets done in them.
Yeah, I mean, I love that she's finally got a small council of interesting characters that are bouncing off each other, and it's not just boring Celtigar telling her she can't do anything and her complaining that she doesn't want to do anything. So that's fun. But yeah, she seems to be dealing with it as well as Aegon when he was on the council.
I also would like to make a formal petition to Condal and the team to have Torrin Manderly in every scene going forward.
Right,
I think it would improve the show.
Gossiping with Lady Frey.
The
Like a
White
couple of
Worm,
mums
the
at the hairdressers.
whore.
That's the White Worm. Oh, that's Corlys's bastard, by the way. Just letting you know.
His brother's
It's
a
like,
dragon
damn,
rider.
okay. Spilling tea all over.
I
the
love him
comforting
so much.
chair. He's really fun. Like, he's such a great addition.
Also,
I've
a Frey and a
actually
Manderly just chilling, gossiping.
I was gonna say, like, is he after that Frey pie later? If you know what I mean.
All right, that's all the time we have. And then obviously, Daemon is kind of disobeying her in this scene. She's asking him to go on the hunt for Vhagar. He's saying, no, I need to deal with Jack the Ripper, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Their relationship is quite
Perkin the Ripper.
interesting this season, I've found.
Yeah, Daemon is far more respectful to her than he was
Yes.
before his Harrenhal arc, but it doesn't mean that their relationship
He's
is
still
now
Daemon.
Sunshine and Rainbows, which I like. He hasn't done a 180. He's still Daemon. He's still taking things into his own hands, but he now has a very obvious love and respect for Rhaenyra that he didn't hold before. Yeah, and when Alinda Massey walks in, and he just goes ugh and walks off, I was like, that was so unnecessary. What did Alinda do?
And Joffrey's back, though he's not in this scene. I don't think we have a specific slide for him.
Oh yeah, we can talk about him then. So Joff has returned.
Which is good. We are now only missing 2 of Rhaenyra's kids.
Yes, please remind the audience that she has other children. The question is, Quinn, is she being reluctant about seeing her son, Joffrey, her 3rd son, her current heir, because the mother grieves while the queen shirks her duties, and she's like, I can't afford to embrace him and let my emotions out and fully grieve my other children. I need to keep him away and focus on winning the war, focus on the intense politics. Is that what we're doing, or is it that the show is scared of having scenes with children in, and they're like, you know what, let's just have her look at him sleep from a distance and walk away, and then we'll bring him up 2 episodes later or something?
We were talking about this a little bit, like right after the episode. It is bizarre, like how little the show has in terms of like children as characters, given the fact that there was like a period of time in the first season where like all of the characters were children, and I think they did a great job with it. Like they got a bunch of great actors, and there were some scenes that were a bit more intense that they needed to film. But
I mean, the season 1 fight scene alone is incredible. Like
yeah,
how realistic it is when it's a bunch of kids,
mm-hmm.
like fantastic actors, and of course, not to mention, we just had a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms with a fantastic child actor.
Yeah,
And
although
yet,
he didn't have to
season
really do
2
anything, but he did see a lot, I assume. And obviously, the issue last season that was cited by Condal as part of the reason for, you know, not doing Blood and Cheese exactly as written was like we didn't want it was like illegal to use kids that young in a scene that intense.
That's bullshit. That's such bullshit.
There were
They could
definitely
easily
ways that could be very easily worked around.
Yes, yeah, I
Camera
don't
angles,
understand.
even.
Yeah, and I like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm guessing there's a sense of maybe it's just too hard and takes too long to work with kid actors, so let's just move along because it's a very convoluted show. But I would
That's
have liked to
actually
have seen.
my theory. It's not Joffrey. Jane Eyre is
It's
sent an imposter,
fake Joffrey,
fake Joffrey,
and Rhaenyra won't realize because she just
because
refuses
she
to
doesn't
see him.
recognize him.
That would be so bad. That would be.
Let's see.
Hold
Next
on,
up,
his hair is dyed.
we've got Aegon and Larys's little chat. We already talked about this a little bit with it kind of being mirrored to Aemon's chat with Alice, which we can also talk about here because it kind of goes along with the slide we had earlier. That was a tricky thing with this episode. There were a lot of like very short scenes of the same characters and then bouncing to another one. So we might go a little unchronologically at points, but I really like that this seemed to finally be a breaking point for Larys in terms of confronting Aegon about just complaining all the time and not doing anything and squandering all of his potential. And it is cool to see this as like the turning point for Aegon as he's kind of beginning to take a bit more action, which we'll get to later in terms of the actual action that he ends up taking.
I've got a question for you.
I've got an answer. I hope.
Larys snapping at Aegon. Is he scheming? Is he using reverse psychology? Is this a play, or is it him genuinely for once dropping the act and just being like, I give up, you've ruined this for me, you've ruined this for you, I'm going to give you my actual opinion and storm off? Was this Larys being real for once?
I think it's a combination of both. I think he is using his real opinion and knowing how defiant Aegon is of any sort of authority and trying to use that as reverse psychology. Because I do think there's a difference in terms of how Larys has talked to Aegon so far and at this point.
Yeah, I think there's a part of him that thought that if he said this, it would kind of be a massive slap in the face and would lead Aegon to, come back to him and continue the Bravos plot to get him to safety and continue scheming across the narrow sea. But I think for the most part, it was Larys just being real and just being like, you know what, fuck you. You're so pampered, you're so privileged, and you're complaining about being a firstborn son and your younger brother being better than you.
Because he had all the same
things.
resources as Aemon. Aemon just used them.
Yeah, he's like, I could have been a great king if I had his advantages. Like, you had his advantages.
A dragon named for the sun itself.
Oh, what a fire line. And of course this is going to infuriate Larys, because he's an ambitious second son with a clubfoot, And when he calls Aegon a terrible man, I don't think that's him saying you're a terrible man as in...
morally, because he's Larys.
Yeah, morally, what you've done to women, etc. Because Larys is a kinslayer and a murderer.
Arguably the biggest monster on the show.
Oh, he's utterly monstrous. But when he says terrible, he means you have squandered your opportunity. I have schemed and murdered my way to become Lord of Harrenhal. I've secreted my goal away. I've latched myself onto Alicent and to you. I rose onto the council, Master of Whisperers. I could have become Hand at some point, and now it's all ruined and it's all gone. But I worked my way there, and you had it given to you. You had the power given to you, and you squandered it and you wasted it. You were a terrible king. You are a terrible man. It was cool to just see Larys.
I do
almost.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Almost giving up in a way. Like almost like he's like, you're the last bastion, not bastion. You're the last like tool I have to regain power in any meaningful sense, and and if you give up, I give
Tool
up.
in
It's
both
over.
senses. I think
Yeah.
I really liked Laris this episode. I do think that the more the season's been going on and this plot has unfolded, I do think it's a little contrived that Laris would not have any like agents with him, considering that both he and Aegon are so physically limited. Just to have like, he obviously had like that fleet of Firefly guys with no tongues in the first season. Yes, we didn't really see them in the second season, but assumedly they are still somewhere and under Laris's control. When we see those letters sent from King's Landing with the Gold Cloak murders, I thought they were going to Laris, and this was like the reason his people were, not present with him and Aegon. But like, I feel like they would have probably taken at least one able-bodied guard.
Yeah, I think we need a wider chat about about Laris, which is that season 1 Laris doesn't really feel the same as season 2 onwards. It feels like the same character, but he feels like far less resourceful. Like he has an entire spy network, and then he takes out a rival spy network, which is Myzaria's.
So he should be at his most powerful.
He should be at his most powerful, and then he latches himself onto Aegon to get onto the small council. But throughout season 2, we don't see him doing any spy master stuff. He doesn't do any spying. He doesn't send his arsonist agents, the tongueless criminals who he's pardoned in exchange for being his agents. They don't do anything. And then when he escaped with Aegon, as you said, they have no loyal men with them, apart from the guys who got murdered in episode 1. He doesn't seem to have many contingencies. His whole plan is just, I'm going to flee with you to Bravos and rebuild from there. But it's like, is he doing anything that's like affecting the rest of Westeros? Because in Fire and Blood, I'll just quickly say, in Fire and Blood, when he's away from the city, he still has agents who are stirring up shit against Rhaenyra, right? He's scheming even then. That role's now been given to Ormond, which I like for Ormond, but it does strip Laris of that kind of the powerful aura he had previously. He seems a bit lost.
Also, I feel like if that's truly his end, and like the one thing he wants to do is bring Aegon to Bravos, why wouldn't they just get on a ship at or near King's Landing? Like, going by road to another port seems so much more,
when they
difficult.
Going by road to Duskendale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they did that. Like, when Littlefinger had Sansa kidnapped, they just had, like, a boat to, to take them to the
Same with
Vale.
Tyrion leaving after killing his dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, it's pretty doable. But honestly, Aegon and Laris are just always a highlight. And I should say that, like, all of this discussion of Laris' kind of changing role, I do love him in season 2 and think he has some of the best dialogue in that season.
He's great as a character. I just
people are saying the blockade of King's Landing. That's a great point. So that makes sense in terms of not sailing out of King's Landing.
That's a fantastic.
I kind of forgot about the Valyrian fleet. I apologize.
You know what? It actually makes even more sense in the show than in Fire and Blood, because in Fire and Blood they flee just before the fall of King's Landing, after the Battle of the Gullet. In the show they flee before the Battle of the Gullet, so that does make sense that they need to go to a port city that's loyal to the Greens in case they get caught, because Duskendale fell to Kristen Cole. So that does make sense. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat, for correcting us.
But I do love Laris's character. I want more from him, and I want to know if he has is his whole plan just basically, I tied everything to you, we've both lost power, I'll take you to Bravos, and then we'll build up our support, because I want him to be doing more. Like, where are his agents? Where are his spies? Like, or I could say the same about Mysaria, to be fair. Like, the extent of her spying.
Well, she does some this episode, which I liked.
Yeah, but the extent of it is, like, I have made to report to me about the inner workings of the Red Keep, but, like, what about King's Landing? What about the realm at large? Like, I don't know, they're not as formidable as they come across as in Fire and Blood.
There's a difference. There's a difference to Laris, right? He's not quite the same, and he's focused on one thing. And what is that one thing? Bravos. Who's in Bravos?
Oh, no.
What is Laris? Who is this new Laris?
No.
Is it someone wearing Laris's face?
No.
Laris is a faceless man.
A faceless first man. and a green seer
Oh.
and a warg who can walk
Every
into the
type of
rats.
magic is at Laris's fingertips.
Wait, you know why Laris has lost so much power and he seems kind of down and he's almost giving up this episode? Because he walks the rats and they've all been killed by the cats. He's lost his
Oh,
spies in the Red Keep.
You're right.
Yeah. He's now trying to learn how to walk cats, and it's more difficult.
It is, because we know that like different beasts are more difficult to warg. Like wolves are obviously, the easiest according to individuals in the main series. I think we've really put it together here. We figured it out.
I know Arya potentially wargs a cat after
That
she
is
goes blind.
not potentially. She does.
She does. But I feel like that's the hardest animal to walk. I think if you walk a dog, they'll just be like, "Oh, that's fun. I'm being controlled." A cat will fight back.
Yeah.
Like mentally, a cat will be like, "Get the fuck out of my head."
Verimir directly does say that in the dance prologue, because he had not a house cat, but like a shadow cat, which is like a panther,
yeah.
I think. Yeah. Anyway, enough of this tangent. We then have, I think this is a continuation. This is more the scene between Alicent and Mysaria. Mysaria has discovered that Orwyle went to Alicent's chambers and brought something. Alicent says it was for Helena's headaches, and then obviously pivots to saying it was for her, and she drinks the moon tea that was meant for her daughter, which is pretty rough. I did feel quite bad for her in that moment. I really, really loved the conversations between Alicent and Mysaria throughout this episode, because they are kind of in interesting mirrored positions in terms of both of them having this relationship to Rhaenyra, being very close and a close confidant, but also at other points being a prisoner of her. It's very cool, and it makes sense that Alicent would, use this to push a little bit away from that and allow Mysaria to kind of assess the situation more broadly. And I did enjoy that, Alicent correctly appealed to the fact that, hey, this is actually a bit later on with the maid escape scene, which we have another slide for as well. If you tell Rhaenyra about this, yes, you're gaining a little bit with Rhaenyra, but she's going to find out about this anyway, and this way you have your eggs are not all in one basket. You'll have some help with me, and if things go the other way and the Greens end up winning, maybe Alicent will remember this. And it's actually pretty interesting, which is pretty cool.
I don't think she's got any eggs in her basket left after chugging out moon tea.
I thought you were going to say Mysaria. Didn't she say she couldn't have kids last season?
Mysaria? Yeah, no, she does say that, doesn't she?
Yeah. So both of them, really.
Bro, she's gonna Alicent.
We do. I liked the continuity that we saw her with the stone, which she's holding right now, which she did last season.
Yeah, warm stones to her belly, and they've given her some makeup to make her lips paler. Like she's clearly unwell because the consequences can't be good of.
I visibly winced when she drank it. I felt bad.
Chugged that shit. Oh my god, she downed.
You have to. It's like a shot at that point. I can't imagine it tastes good.
That was a shot. Oh my god. But yeah, no. Speaking of Mysaria, this might be the first time I've liked Mysaria ever since the entire show. I'm a bit of a Mysaria hater.
Well, yes, we know. We've heard all of the streams that you are in.
Yeah. If it's a female character, I hate them. Make no mistake.
I've gotten that impression.
No. But Mysaria, I actually found her really fun this episode. It's because she was allowed to be what she is in Fire and Blood, which is a villainous spy master. And in this subplot revolving around Alicent and Helena, the White Worm is acting as the antagonist of this subplot. And she clearly despises Alicent. And the way that the actress is holding herself, it's kind of snake-like, it's cunning, it's snarling. It's she's actually playing the role as a villain, and I found it the most interesting performance that Sonoya has given throughout all of Hot Day. I was like, yes, this is what I want. I want the villainous spy master Mysaria. Doesn't mean that her long-term goals can't be for a noble cause, like protecting the small folk, but I want to see her actually be villainous instead of being, as Alicent calls her, Rhaenyra's lapdog. It's kind of, your grace, you're wonderful, but we must look after the people and shit. It's it gets really tiring, and I'm I just enjoyed her performance this episode. I want to see more of this.
And I really liked that Alicent brought up... What was that?
Sorry, I did Daemon.
I really liked that Alicent brought up Rhaenyra and Daemon's relationship, because I think in both of these instances, that is a clear hurdle for Alicent and for Mysaria at various points in terms of being close to Rhaenyra. Obviously, that was kind of why her relationship with Rhaenyra broke down, that first, dispute in King of the Narrow Sea with her going out with Daemon, going out on the town, not like they had a nice little date. But and it is interesting because Rhaenyra and Daemon are so clearly, at this point closer than I would say they've ever been, and it is something that Mazzaria does need to contend with, and she has kind of just been ignoring it and just continuing ahead.
Rich words from a high tower. That's all I have to say.
I was gonna say I hope so. Do we have anything else here?
For this specific chunk of the storyline,
Yeah, I think we have more
No, I don't
later
think so.
on this.
yeah, there's a lot of Helena scenes kind of dipping in, coming out.
That was the
flitting
one.
around,
That was the plot line I was having with more of an issue.
flitting around like fucking deer flies,
Yeah.
as Roddy the Rowan would say.
But we then get to Kristen's march towards the. I think it was towards Stony Sept. I'm continuing my train of enjoying the John Connington allusions throughout these episodes. But it was really cool to see different tactics being used throughout. Like, obviously, at the beginning of the episode, we see Kristen's army attacking the camp of the Riverlands army. And then here we see the Caltrips, or Crow's Feet, as they were called there, destroying their horses, which does obviously make this... What was that?
Sorry, let's not skip past that. Why weren't they called caltrops?
Good question. I think maybe Caltrip... Is it like a specific thing? Like the Crow's Feet are like the bigger ones?
I'm looking this up. Is that an actual medieval term, or are they just renaming?
Also, for the purposes of copyright, this is a parody, so don't sue me. Did you hear about that on TikTok?
Wait, what? Sorry, I'm doing.
Somebody like
medieval
trademarked
research.
the term "hot girl walk" and was suing anybody who used it.
Why? I mean, it's your channel, so I'm not worried. But
Yeah, no.
rest in peace, Quinn the GM.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
We could rename it to save you from the copyright.
Nah. That was why I put it on here. I thought it was funny.
Okay, no. Apparently, crow's foot is just a synonym for caltrop. And it sounds nice and medievally, but like the caltrops
are a
the
thing that
sigil.
exists and is important as a name to.
They're the sigil. They're the sigil of House Footley. It's the name of a tavern in Tumbleton. And
It's the name of a certain group in Tumbleton.
That may or may not appear in season 4 of the show. So like, why not name drop?
They'll be called the Crow's Feet in season 4.
That would also go hard, to be fair. That is kind of fire.
Yeah, I do think it was very much foreshadowing because I think that someone here will maybe play a role in that.
Okay, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler talk.
Should also say, it is interesting to have Gawain here. Gawain is long dead by this point in the show. I don't know if we really talked about that. He dies when Rhaenyra takes King's Landing.
Yeah, he's a gold cloak who's put in there by Otto to basically keep an eye on Luthor Largen and other captains who may be loyal to Daemon. And when King's Landing falls, he just gets assassinated. He gets shanked in the belly. He's
by
dead.
Luthor Largen, who we'll get to.
By Luthor Largen. Yeah. Oh my god.
I know.
He outlived Luthor Largen. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm loving him this episode.
Yeah.
How many Kristen slides do you have? Because he also has scenes that go in and out. And
We
in and out.
have two. We have one more later for his final speech. I think we can fold in his final talk with Gawain.
Okay, so in that case, this is early Kristen stuff.
Yes.
What did you think about Gawain's chat with him, where he like their relationship has finally?
It was so John Con.
The buddy. What do you mean?
My father's lands are beautiful.
Oh, not everything's John Con.
Everything is. Do you? I am curious. I've seen everybody on Twitter shipping them, and rightfully so. With Gawain, like inviting him to come back to Old Town and everything. Do you think there was any like romantic hint there? Do you think Gawain was like interested in that?
If there was, it's definitely one-sided. I'm telling you that.
Well, yes.
You could argue even a platonic bromance was one-sided, considering.
Also,
Gawain was
yes.
like, come back to Old Town, and Kristen's like, we're marching to certain death, and I'm not going to clarify that with you.
I have been in the
like your
process of
company.
trying to get myself killed for like a decade
Such a
now.
piece of shit.
I'm not
He's
going to
such a
let you
piece-
interfere with it now.
Such a piece of shit. I like you, so I want you to hang around with me, but like, we're gonna die, and I'm not gonna clarify that. I'm just gonna hint at it constantly until I find. No, I didn't necessarily pick up on anything that wasn't platonic. I think they could have gone that route, but I would have needed more scenes with them and maybe more from the actor to imply that. That strikes me more as fans having fun with the dynamic.
It's like the this is my second Community reference of the night, but the one thing like if you use certain music over something, you could ship anything. like Troy.
Just
not Troy,
have
Pierce
shots
and
of them like
Abed.
looking at each other. Yeah, have shots of them looking at each other. Just put it in.
I should
slow-mo,
do
have,
that
like,
with them. It would be
that
good.
would be brilliant, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, here we have obviously like the initial walk where the horses are killed and that little conversation about the high tower. I think it was a good use of like showing that they're kind of starting to be on the back foot, and I do think it was very much good to show that, like, obviously the Dornish are echoing through this episode, and their strategy, these guerrilla tactics, are being used. But this is not Kristen or Gwain's land. The Riverlanders know it better, and as such are able to get ahead and not only sabotage them with crow's feet, but burn this bridge that they are looking at right here.
Yeah, as Oscar Tully said early in the episode, using their tactics against them. Kind of two-sided guerrilla warfare to fuck with each other, and they're able to take the lead.
They are the bigger gorilla.
Gwain is using every opportunity to be like, oh, well, we lost.
Should
Let's
leave.
go back to Old Town. Let's go to Tumbleton at the very least. It starts off with being like, let's go to Old Town, then it becomes, let's go to Tumbleton to help Ormond. So, we're still being useful, right? And that one moment where Kristen just stares at him and just blanks him and goes, I know, we can cut through the undergrowth and go this way instead. And just walks away. He's just got that, like, those dead eyes.
Which he's frankly had since Rook's Rest, which is very good.
And low-key, he's had since Rhaenyra rejected him, let's be honest.
I would say there's a difference since Rook's Rest is what broke him. He's a broken man.
Yeah. I think we should really... Yeah, we'll save that for the other Kristen slide in terms of where his arc has gone. Because it's beginning to make more sense to me as someone who's found his arc very messy and a bit confusing.
I got it. It didn't really click for me until the rewatch I did just before this season, but I think it's one of the best arcs in the show.
And it's a good performance this episode by Fabian.
Yeah. But speaking of references to A Dance with Dragons, we have another conversation, our only Ormond and Daeron scene this episode. And we see, could you move the caption down and to the left a bit? It's a little cut off.
But of course.
We see a game that is never shown in Game of Thrones, Syvass. It only comes to Westeros in the books as of like A Feast for Crows, so it doesn't super make sense that it's here now, but it is really cool to see it on screen, and it is always very fun as a way to explore these characters and these dynamics and how they're interacting with each other, because Martin, obviously, like, he loves chess. He used to, like, referee chess tournaments, or I don't know if referee is the right word, umpire. And he uses this as a metaphor so much in A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons, like, as a metaphor for the Game of Thrones. And it's so fun to see it actually realized here.
All I can say, everyone, is invest in Daeron coin. We're going to the moon. It's going crazy. Ormond will not be pulling any rugs of any sort. I don't even know what that means. But you'll become as rich as Anguy the Archer, right? You'll win 40k gold coin, which is the equivalent of like 5 billion or whatever I calculated for that one.
I still think that's the hardest one of your videos. Just made me laugh.
It's ridiculous. I calculated it using that website, and I was like, he won $3
billion and blew it.
Crazy work. Yeah, no, I love this scene. The previous episode was an overall better reach episode, but this was a wonderful, beautiful little. I love every scene in this episode. It doesn't make a perfect episode, but every scene individually.
There is one scene I did not like.
Okay, we'll get to that. But I know some people will complain about the whole, like, technically Syvass isn't in Westeros yet. That's book canon. Nothing in the show has established.
And if anybody would have it would be like the high towers of Old Town, this base of knowledge from across the world.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It was never introduced in Game of Thrones, so like we can just say show canon. It's just in Westeros.
Which, frankly, it probably would have been if Martin came up with the idea before A Feast for Crows.
Exactly. A bit like how the Blackfires probably would have been mentioned before A Storm with Swords if he'd thought of them.
And I saw an interesting point that, like, Moon Tea, I think, was invented for A Storm of Swords.
Oh, shit.
Because there's Alice Stokeworth, after the, riot in King's Landing, and she has the bastard. She probably would have just done Moon Tea. Lawless, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I saw that post. But, this is
Shout out that post.
Shout out that post. Let me make my point, goddammit.
Sorry.
I'm trying to... It's chess. Let's go. Ormond is, Gotham Chess on YouTube. Ormond's gonna set up his own like Gotham Savas, where like the ridiculous over the top AI thumbnails where he's like fighting a dragon with a sword, and everyone's like, "It's not that deep, bro. It's just Savas." That's what's gonna happen. No, I love this scene. I love obviously just the symbolism of like Ormond's discussing strategy and tactics, and he's like playing this complicated chess game
And loses.
And then he fucking loses, and not just loses, but loses to the dragon piece, having had a whole speech about cunning defeating dragons, and then the dragon rider opposite him defeat him with a dragon.
The
like
teenage
I don't know
dragon
if that is,
rider.
Exactly. I don't know if it is foreshadowing for anything. I don't know if it's just a cheeky dig at Ormond not being as smart as he thinks he is, but I thought that was really fun. It makes for good kinetic acting too, where they can fiddle with the pieces and move them around. And okay, I have a question. When he knocks all the pieces over, was that him raging at losing because he's thin-skinned, like Wayne said, or was that him raging at Daeron being apologetic? When he's like, "Don't apologize for losing."
I think it was him losing. It was purely that, in my opinion.
And then he twists it around. Then he twists it around and turns into
that
no,
was his
don't
cover.
apologize for losing. You're a high tower. Of course, you have high tower intelligence. It's all good. But yeah, he was clearly mad as fuck.
There was a really good interview with Norton, the actor, talking about like how Ormond needs to have this like image and facade of control, and that like slips at times, like last episode when he got the letter, and this episode when he loses, but he does like need to immediately correct it, and we've yet to see that mask like fully slip, because it's kind of halfway there. Like we see a gap in it, but it closes quite quickly. And I do think this is such an interesting and fun and complex relationship, because he seems to have some care for Daeron here. Like I don't think he's just working him. I think that he does feel somewhat paternal to this kid. And I think it makes it more complicated and a lot cooler to me.
Last episode, he felt 100% manipulative. This episode, I agree. I got the impression that he does actually love and care for Daeron in his own twisted way.
I also like. Oh no, go ahead.
Go. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, obviously, so many young Griff parallels, but like young Griff keeps losing at Syvas, and Daeron obviously wins here, which I think is a really fun like little inversion in showing that maybe Daeron does have some greater aptitude.
I'm fully with you on the feast parallels now. Ryan Condal is adapting Feast for Crows. You win.
That's from A Dance with Dragons.
This is the closest we're getting to John Con and Young Griff, and I'm loving it. Like it's so cool.
It's the greatest. And like that gap in sanity as well, like the mask. That's so clearly, I think, like John Connington's got this grayscale. I think we're gonna see this like kind of continued pattern of maybe outbursts like this and wins.
I mean, the gaps we've seen so far, when he's striking at the table with his sword, and now just like the dead look on his face after he loses, like after the fury of knocking everything over, he's so obviously he's just a full blown narcissist, like narcissistic dad that Daeron has to deal with. Such a good portrayal, and then he goes straight back to being confident and smug, being like, "Look, I've minted some coins for you," which is really funny.
That looked terrible.
It doesn't look anything like Daeron.
It looks like Tommen. Like book Tommen.
Did you notice on the coin it has Daeron wearing the Conqueror's crown, the show version of Aegon's crown, which they don't own, which is really funny to make him look more legitimate.
Oh, we've also, I've just realized, done these a little out of order, I think, in that the beginning of this scene is Ormond receiving a letter from a certain guy in King's Landing.
Oh, yes. You know what? I think we can talk about that when we get to the
Daemon thing. I just wanted to address that here, because that is kind of...
Oh, no worries.
Factoring into...
The coin.
Oh, thank you for posting the coin.
I've posted the coin. Look, he's wearing the Conqueror's crown, is he not?
He definitely is. That's the exact shape, and you can see the ruby in the middle.
You're right. It doesn't look... It doesn't look anything like Daeron. It's so funny.
In fairness, I don't know if anybody knows what Daeron looks like in this show.
Yeah. Make a coin of my 16-year-old stepson. He's like, okay.
It would be so funny if it looked exactly like Ormond and he just said it was Daeron.
Yeah, I've made coins minted of you. It looks like looking like handsome Squidward. It's like, this is just you, father.
Yeah, but obviously we see the continuation of Ormond's plans to undermine Rhaenyra here, and he's kind of doing this insurgency in the capital to, get the small folk to see
Exactly
this disorder surrounding her.
And he's inspired by Princess Maria Martell and Dawn fighting against Aegon the Conqueror and his sister wives during the conquest of Dawn, which failed. He's like, Dawn is unbowed and unbent. You could argue it was broken by all the dragonfire, but it never bowed to the Targaryens. And I can take inspiration from this woman. I can take inspiration from this kingdom, this principality, and use it in my own way, because I'm cunning. I'm the cunning Ormond, and while we only have one dragon and she has a bunch, how can I take her down from within? How can I stir shit up in King's Landing? How can I destroy her legitimacy bit by bit? Like, I think it's really... I still don't know what his long-term goal is, but I do think it's fascinating so far. And I think it's really interesting that this is probably the only woman he has any respect for.
We directly hear that. He says, like, Maria Martell, the only woman to possess a military strategic mind, which is, like...
Yes, but
it's very consistent for his character, but it's also a hilarious thing to say.
Because so far he's like intimidated Lady Footly with his penis and his nakedness, rather more generally. He's referred to Baratheon's daughters as horse-faced. He's called Rhaenyra a bitch. He's clearly a misogynist. Big surprise. And he's like, this is clearly someone he actually respects, which is a nice little twist on his character. But there's an interesting little moment where he says, well, directly afterwards he says, "But the gods divested her of beauty."
Which also, she was like 80 at the time, so like...
Oh, yeah, she was an ancient woman. But in his head, he's like, I can justify the fact that this one woman happened to be a military genius because what she made up for in military, she didn't have in looks, right? Women are meant to be supple and beautiful, and she was different because she had a man's mind, and in return, she was like gross and fat and blind and ugly. And like, that's sort of how he that's how he sees it. Like the two kinds of women. Yeah.
Standout character of the season so far. I think he's super interesting. Both of them are. I love them both. It just makes me upset we haven't spent more time with them.
He's making up for Otto's absence.
Yeah.
Without just being an Otto copy.
Exactly. And I think they've done that very well. Actually, speaking of, you had another image, didn't you?
Do I? Of
the concept art of
Oh my
Cyvasse.
Goodness, I do.
While you're pulling it up,
yes.
Bit of context. The behind-the-scenes stuff showed us more of Cyvasse. The screen, because you're able to like set up your pieces in different arrangements. And they also showed this concept art of like two people playing it. And Haven very correctly pointed out on Twitter, the guy on the right looks a heck of a lot like Otto Hightower, which is very interesting.
And the person on the left clearly isn't young enough to be Daeron.
No.
So to me, this feels like early concept art, potentially, for Otto playing Cyvasse against Ormond, who had not been cast yet. Like, they could just be random character models standing in, but did they originally have a plan for Otto and Ormond to be scheming together in Tumbleton, planning to install Daeron? Like, because Rhys Fan's exit does feel very rushed to me, even though this is where he dies in the books after Fall of King's Landing. Him disappearing in season 2 makes me think the actor
there was
dipped,
another
and then
plan.
They brought him. Yeah, especially because he literally teases in early season 2. I can go to Daeron and help him.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Especially with like the episodes getting cut. I feel like the plan was originally to introduce the Reach plot late in season 2, but they ended up just cutting it entirely and trying to salvage what they could from those last couple of episodes.
The chat is saying it's Unwin Peak on the left.
If he was wearing orange, I would agree with you.
No Unwin Peak this season.
He's wearing red and black, so he's Daemon Targaryen.
Oh my goodness. Otto and Daemon? One last
That would have been a
game?
good scene.
Like, before he gets executed, they just play Cyvasse.
They play Cyvasse for Otto's life.
Oh my goodness. That's the conceptual episode?
It's just a chess game?
This really complicated fantasy chess game that they don't explain the rules for. Every time they make a move, there's like a boom. What's going on?
But yeah, we move on. This was very much an Alicent and Helena-centric episode. I think they were the plot we returned to the most. But we see them chatting with under the Godswood. Jaehaera is in this scene for the beginning part of it, and she is its subject, as Alicent is now plotting to allow herself and her daughter to escape wearing these maid outfits, and she is entirely planning on leaving Jaehaera behind to maybe die, which at least she's consistent on that. We also got our first mention of blood and cheese in a while, which is good. I'm glad they're being remembered. I think they should be remembered more.
I'm not going crazy in thinking that this is the first mention of Jaehaerys since episode 2, season 2. He must have been mentioned since.
No, I mean, he's mentioned a lot in episode 3 as well. I think he's mentioned a fair bit in the first half of season 2. I think he's been mentioned, not by name, like once this season, but I'm not positive on that.
The fact it hasn't been brought up in the King's Landing plot as something against Rhaenyra, like, we're still pushing the whole, she's a mother of bastards, she's a woman, blah, blah. It's like, yes, these things are stains to her name for certain parts of the kingdom, but, like, also, apparently she killed a toddler, and no one's talking about that anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, at least one scene of her decreeing that it's fake. Like, yeah. I know she's technically already done that, like, as soon as it was announced, but... I mean, you know what they could do? They could have... You know how everyone's now saying that Aemond killed Aegon, and those bounty hunters who came to Harrenhal were like, we're here for Aemond the Kinslayer.
Oh, Aemond killed Jaehaerys to move himself up in the line? I like it.
Exactly. Spread that absolves Rhaenyra of the sin that she didn't commit to begin with, and it also further delegitimizes Aemond, which means that Daeron's the only real threat. Like,
I really like that idea.
They need to address that, but...
Yeah. Also, yeah. I forget... I saw some other stream. I forget if it was the Alt Shift stream or the Preston stream. I think it was the latter. Brought up the very good point that why hasn't Daemon talked to Helaena after seeing her in that vision of the end of the world?
Yeah, can we just pretend the...
I would also like to pretend that vision didn't happen.
Can we pretend it didn't happen?
But I feel like that makes sense, no?
Helaena and Daemon have not interacted.
Yeah, not once.
Daemon hasn't been like, you appeared in my vision.
I saw you. And then I saw a guy in a tree. And then I saw a guy in a really bad mask.
I saw a guy in a latex mask who thought he was scary, and I laughed.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think that was Preston, but it is, I would say, a very good observation. But yeah, this is obviously a very good scene with Helaena. I like that she actually calls Alicent out on her bullshit a little bit. You look away when you lie.
She's still scheming. She's like, hey, yes, we can... Because Alicent just wants to fucking escape. She wants to leave.
Yeah.
She wants to bring Helaena. She's like, fuck Jaehaera, leave her behind. Like,
She never cared about her family, innocent or otherwise.
She should offer that Joffrey and Jaehaera marry.
Yeah. But... Next up here, we have another short, small council scene. Not a ton happens other than, Adam and Baela being dispatched, but I didn't really have a better image of the two of them having their little chat in the field.
This is the same council scene as the one.
Oh, you're right. There was only one council scene. I'm dumb.
There's only one. But yeah, we can. Baela and Adam have dialogue. That's crazy.
It's great. This is what I've been rooting for.
I thought they were just a myth. Yeah. I didn't know Adam existed. I didn't know Baela was a character. Oh my God, they're here and they're talking. That's crazy. What happened to Adam? He was such like a carefree.
I liked him this episode and what little we got of him. Yeah, I think it tracked.
We're seeing more of the kind of fun, carefree character from last season, Yeah. And Baela actually, again, it's such a rushed short scene, but like Baela addressing the fact that Jace is dead and that she was going to be queen and now it's gone. And she's like, I'm going to get married to some old guy. I guess they've established that like Baela and Joffrey, that's just not a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Joffrey's probably too young.
Kind of a Rhaenyra and Aegon situation with the age difference.
Yeah. He's too Otto. Yes.
I fucking love that scene.
No, it was great. It was, honestly, you know what I felt during this scene? Again, very quick scene. Not too much to talk about. I felt some chemistry between them.
Agreed.
Like, I felt like some actual...
In fairness, I think Adam would have chemistry with a lot of people.
He is just charismatic.
He's a very charismatic guy.
Actor and character, when they let the character be charismatic, which is not often. He's often just standing there.
Filming behind-the-scenes stuff of other people.
Yes, yeah. Leaking half of... being the source of half the leaks.
Clinton Liberty rules.
I mean, with a name like that, you know.
That is true.
Clinton Liberty?
I would vote for him for president.
That's an American name. That's
Yes,
a
it is.
president in like.
That's the president in like a 90s movie.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or maybe
That's
not the
that's a
90s because
president-
Clinton was actually president, but like a 2000s type thing.
I feel like that's an 80s movie president.
Maybe. I could see that too.
And it's like an Arnold movie where he's a protagonist, and President Clinton Liberty like sets him out to like fight a Russian terrorist or something.
Who in Westeros are we having Arnold play?
Oh, the mountain.
That's too obvious. We need to go further
Too obvious.
afield.
Too boring, is it? Strong Boas.
That'd be pretty good. I could see it. I could see it.
The Hound.
Tyrion Lannister.
Oh my God.
I think he could do it. I think
I
he's
am
got
on
the
trial
range.
for being a dwarf.
But yeah, I fully agree with
What
you
is
on
it?
this scene.
What is
I don't really have a ton to say about it.
Give us more Adam.
Give us
Goddammit.
more, a lot of characters.
Yes. I like side characters. Game of Thrones was a lot better at giving more time and character to side characters, which made the world feel more alive. Hot D still struggles with it.
It's
Even
Hot
now,
D's
it's
getting
still
better,
struggling.
I would say. But it's also
It's
the
getting
cast is a little too big to start getting better at this point. Like Torrin
The thing is,
great, but he was also just
Yes.
introduced this season.
I know people are like, oh, the Hot D cast is too big, and that's why. I'm
Game
pretty
of
sure the
Thrones
Game
is
of Thrones
bigger.
cast is bigger than the Hot D cast.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just
It's the
about-
structure is the issue. I think part of what I like about
structure.
this season is it does feel more like traditional Game of Thrones in its structure, because there are so many more plot lines around the realm we're bouncing between, rather than just like one structured story with either one main plot or two sides of the plot that we're bouncing between. We actually have some characters not appearing for episodes. No Aemond last episode. Episode 3 entirely
Yes.
focused on Rhaenyra. And I think that like they should have had a structure more similar to that. If not in season 1, because season 1 was such a weird, like, time hoppy thing, season 2, that should have very much come in. And I think we would have a lot more, feeling of these characters already being developed, and they might not need to have so many scenes per episode, because we would have already gotten to know them significantly. Like, Adam, I feel like we've not gotten to know him nearly at all. He's kind of just been in the shadow of either his brother or the other dragon seeds.
When you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar. You are only telling the world that you fear what he might say.
You had that loaded for the second I stopped speaking.
I always come prepared, baby.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is Haven's impression corner. I like it more than accent corner.
Do you like it? Do you like it more than Kermit?
It's a tight race, I would say. I think your Kermit is better, but I also might like your Arnold more because it's worse.
I've been preserving my Kermit. I haven't been letting him out the cage that much. I don't want to ruin. I don't want to oversaturate
Saving him for the telly
the
video.
joke. I'll save it.
You are doing that in the telly video, yes?
I can't remember. I recorded the audio like over a month ago.
Lord Peasbury in the
must do.
chat has the correct answer, which is Arnold and Danny DeVito as Jamie and Tyrion, like in Twins.
Oh my god.
That
Or
is
like in the
genius.
movie where Danny DeVito gets Arnold pregnant.
What?
There's a movie where he becomes a pregnant man. It's an Mpreg movie, and like it's like a '90s film.
I'm moving
What's
on.
it called? It's called Junior. Look it up. 1994. I'm not trolling. It's Junior.
I refuse.
Danny DeVito gets him pregnant. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, Gold Cloaks.
Gold Cloaks. Is that up next?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Haha. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah. What I'm enjoying about this episode is this weird sort of aura of paranoia and this sort of murder mystery vibe that's going on. This game of cat and mouse where Gold Cloaks are being butchered in the streets by mysterious forces. And we'll talk about this a bit in the next slide, actually, where Rhaenyra seems to think it's there's some kind of she senses a premonition. There's some larger, darker force, almost beyond the natural, that's out for her. Where Damon's like, no, it's just people with knives. We can deal with them. The gold cloaks are dying, being disemboweled. They're not being paid their wages. There is unrest in the city, especially after how brutally they handled Banksy last episode and the other graffiti artists. It's the city is sort of tilting towards chaos, and I'm looking forward to where that's going. But one of my favorite moments in the episode is Damon's speech, where Luthor Largent rightly is like, "Listen, while you do have a reputation, you were the Rogue Prince, like." Sorry, you were Lord Fleabottom 20 years ago. A lot of the newer members haven't even met you. And he's like, trust me, I still got it. And he gives a big ass
And
speech
he got
where
it.
he's like, come join me, continue fighting. You know, yes, you're making this sacrifice with low pay or no wages at all, maybe in some instances, but I will pay you back tenfold. You will be in my minds when Rhaenyra and I conquer the rest of the world, and we'll have so many riches, and you're getting all of them. Once I've conquered China, then you're gonna get a wage rise, which is a crazy promise for a boss to give you, but it works because he's charismatic.
9 kingdoms mentioned.
Holy shit! Egg reference.
Also,
16 tons played in my head when he said that.
the guy directly under Damon's finger, or like 2 under, looks exactly like Sean Bean, and one of these guys was called Ned in the episode.
Oh my god, it does look like Sean Bean.
One of the Gold Cloaks was called Ned.
Holy shit! Ned walked a pigeon, a time-traveling pigeon, who then walked a gold cloak?
I think so. But yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. This was a great speech and great scene. Also coupled with the scene earlier where he and Luthor Largent discovered these bodies that had been disemboweled and killed of 2 Gold Cloaks. It's a really interesting feeling in King's Landing we really haven't seen before, of like this, like you said, air of like tension and this almost serial killer presence haunting the streets. It's very neat, and I really like it, and it makes sense as a strategy from Ormond to try to do that. And did you want to talk about your guy here, your moment of glory?
Should I bring out my boy?
Yeah.
I did want to say one thing before I bring him out, which is that when Damon starts shouting, when his speech is going to shouting, he sounds so much like the 11th Doctor. Like,
yes,
a bit of Doctor Who slips out. It's very fun. But yeah, my boy, the one and only, this man. I'm very proud that
you called your shot on this one.
I called my shot. In terms of, I'm sure maybe other people noticed it, but I think I'm the first person.
You were the only one who noticed
kind of,
it in episode 2 that this guy was getting attention.
Yeah, in the fandom, in terms of someone with some level of influence and sway, I was the first major person to be like, this guy, the actor Richard Pepper, he's not an extra, he's a proper actor, he's been in proper things. The actor doesn't have heterochromia, even though they gave the character heterochromia. He takes off his helmet and has a proper... The camera properly focuses on him before he marches off. Why does he exist? Why have you given a minor character so much aura? Why do we need a scene where he dramatically walks off the battlements when there's another character who serves as the captain of the battlements? Why do you need him? And I was like, he's definitely coming back. Lo and behold, I'm correct. 3 episodes later, he is now in hiding in the city, sending ravens off to Ormond. He is clearly involved in the murders. He's stirring up tension in the city to help, gradually overthrow Rhaenyra. Maybe he's committing the murders himself. I know some people were complaining about, the massacre of the Gold Cloaks later, saying, how could random small folk do that? It's like, I think it's him and
guards.
A bunch of... It's him and Knight. It's former household knights of House Hightower who are now potentially, to use a phrase from Fire and Blood, gutter knights. They're knights living in the streets of King's Landing, which could make this character, as I predicted, Perkin the Flea.
I think he is.
Who is in Fire
I think
and
you're
Blood.
on it.
We can talk more about that in Spoiler Corner because he's a character with stuff to do. He could be Perkin, or maybe he just dies next episode. Maybe Damon tracks him down. I don't know.
I think so. We do see Damon LARPing as a Gold Cloak next episode in the trailer.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope my Perkin theory is correct because it was a big swing, and I'm very
You should have done a video on that.
Honestly, yeah, I should have. Those aren't the kind of I don't really do those kind of quick videos where I'm just like, hey, here's a mini theory about an episode. I mentioned it in my quickie review, but you're right. I should have done a proper 10-minute theory, just rambling about how this could be Perkin. But hey, I said it on Twitter. I said it in my quickie review. I
that
said
is
it in
good.
the live stream.
You have sufficiently.
It is
credited.
official. It's potentially the only thing I've contributed to this fandom. Ever.
You've got one.
Oh, the Raymond Frey.
The Raymond Frey thing.
Other than Raymond Frey being a self-insert for George R. R. Martin, because he kills Cat and his middle name is, and George R. R. Martin's one of his middle name is Raymond. Other than that,
the other is
Perkin the
Richard.
Flea. I'm sure you've contributed 10 unique things.
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Benjen,
I don't know.
Benjen Raven sticks out the most in my head, although that was kind of a joint endeavor.
Yeah, me and Michael.
Unintentionally. Yeah, that's crazy that the same
The
day,
same day.
without any contact with each other, you
He
had
caught.
the same
I put up
theory?
mine first, and he like messaged me that, hey, I have this coming up in an hour.
Insane, utterly
Yeah.
insane.
Anyway, next scene.
Have I rambled enough about Bugging the Flea?
In the Sept, I have two complaints about this episode. One stupid, one not. My stupid one is from this scene.
Ooh.
Yellow text above orange candles was impossible to read.
Oh, I see.
I
The
could not
subtitles.
understand. It took me a second watch to fully see what they were saying in Valyrian.
I didn't have that problem personally, but I can,
Maybe I
I can
need
understand
glasses.
why. Oh, you nerd. I had my glasses on. Haha. Or my contact lenses. I can't remember what I was wearing on the day. But yeah, no, that's a fair enough complaint if you literally couldn't see it.
The High Valyrian sounded incredible, though, and I'm surprised that Daemon could cross the threshold into the church.
Yeah, without bursting into
Someone in the
flames.
chat saying just learn High Valyrian.
Honestly, yeah, get on Duolingo.
Get on Duolingo.
Become-
I know. Sorry,
become fluent
guys.
before next week. It's almost one of those things where like you don't even need the subtitles and you can generally gauge what they're talking about. It feels so absurdly natural. It's like they're both genuinely bilingual and that like it's so perfect.
I
They
cannot
speak
see
it
them
with
getting
such
any points with the
authority.
faith for this, though. Like, Rhaenyra is clearly trying to, like, you know, make this connection with
Put
the
on a
High
show.
Septon, but then they, like, it's her and the Rogue Prince talking loudly and impassionedly in a language that's, like, entirely foreign to Westeros.
And like glancing up every now and then at the it's not the best propaganda.
Then I'll
but-
die as one of them.
Oh, but,
Is that the line
Daemon's
from Lord of the
expressions-
Rings?
Is it?
When Legolas and Aragorn are, like, talking in Elvish, and then Aragorn just, like, goes back to English, and the only thing the people around them would understand is, then we'll die as one of them.
Oh yeah, it's like god damn, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I loved. Yeah, the acting's incredible. The use of the language is incredible. The dialogue, you know, well, if you could read it, was so good. Like I mentioned earlier, Rhaenyra kind of having this growing paranoia that like the gods lifted her up and gave her dragons, but now is there a similar force that's pushing her back down, where everything's turning against her? And Daemon's not falling for this shit because I don't even think. Let alone respecting the faith as an organized religion. I don't think Daemon even believes in the Seven. Rhaenyra clearly does.
No, I don't think
And so that's
Daemon
an
believes in any
interesting-
religion. I think Daemon believes
The
in
dragon-
Daemon.
The dragons are gods
Yeah.
in his eyes. And they're godlike in the fact that they can tame and ride them, is probably...
Maybe he worships
I love the
Bloodraven now.
I love the expressions. Like, Daemon's, like, kind of, like, fed-up expression. Like, kind of like, ugh, while talking in... Oh, it's just... You just forget that they're speaking a fake language.
I love the way Daemon ends the conversation, like, effectively saying, I can see you're tired, and then just leaving.
He's such a dick.
Such an asshole.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you're clearly tired. Bye. Don't you think she looks tired? To quote the Doctor before Matt Smith.
I've never seen Doctor Who.
He is very. It will probably be a massive clash watching him as the 11th Doctor compared to Daemon.
I imagine
Those
the
are
tone
two
is fairly different.
very different characters.
I think they should switch shows. The Doctor and Daemon.
Oh, Daemon going around just murdering aliens would be incredible.
I would
No
watch that show.
negotiation, no speeches about mercy and compassion. He just like fucking shit up.
Yeah.
And then the 11th Doctor just bumbling around the Red Keep. That would be bumping into shit. That would be incredible. Yeah, no. Anyway, I don't know what else to add about this.
I was gonna
scene.
say, I don't have a
It's
ton
such
to say. It was
good
just
scene.
very good dialogue.
Yeah.
And I'm also having trouble remembering the specifics because I couldn't read it the first time through, and I don't like have any sound in my head.
And I again, I like that there are disagreements between them that still feel respectful. We're not just relitigating the early seasons. The early seasons, this is only season 3. Like season 1 and 2 where he was more dismissive towards her, right?
He's not even choking her this time.
Yeah, he's not
He's
strangling
grown
her.
so
That's
much.
That's what I call character growth.
Character
That's what I call an
development.
arc. He's not physically abusing his wife / niece.
Light and dark in equal parts, according to the
in
author.
equal parts, Quinn. In
Equal parts. Well, there's a lot of light off screen, I think is the the implication.
There's a lot of light on screen because there's about 1,000 bloody candles.
That's a good point. I love all of the shots in this place, by the way. Like, obviously kind of a bad rap because the last time we saw it was the first secret stupid meeting between
Yes.
elephant disguised Rhaenyra and Alicent. I'm not saying that Rhaenyra looks like an elephant. I'm just saying that the gray scepter robes looked like she was wearing a toddler elephant costume. But yeah, I'm glad to see. It's like that ring of candles is very evocative, and obviously we don't have access to the incredible like sight of the Great Sept of Baelor because Baelor doesn't exist yet. But yeah, it's pretty good.
We have the slightly lesser sept of Eustace. I don't know.
I wish we had Eustace in this show.
But I like the High Septon from episode 3. Bring him back.
Agreed.
Give him more dialogue.
Where is Mushroom? Where is Mushroom? What if
No, this
I
isn't-
almost just said such a big spoiler. I'm gonna say that for spoiler corner. I am glad I caught myself.
I'm writing the word mushroom
Thank you.
in my document. Question mark, question mark, question mark. No, one more thing before we move on. You were talking about how great it looks. Just another shout out to the direction of the show.
Yes. Also,
Everything looks great.
creative team for this episode was entirely new. New director, new writer. First for the series.
Yes, and they're coming back for episode 7.
Oh, excellent.
This team.
That's very exciting to me.
I do wonder if they filmed this and 7 back to back. But yeah, I really liked it. Again, the writer, Philippa Gosler, hope she comes back for more because she knows how to do the dialogue here. I think she's rivaling Sarah Hess for
Agreed.
dialogue. And just to clarify, that's like some people hate Sarah Hess. I think she's the best dialogue writer on the show.
Agreed.
That doesn't mean she has the best ideas. I think dialogue-wise, in a vacuum, she's good. She's great.
The one line that I always think
complaint-
of in terms of Sarah Hess's dialogue is from Rhaenyra and Daemon's argument in Rhaenyra the Cruel. What is it? Something about like an excuse to use the darkness you keep sheathed inside you like a blade.
Ooh, let's go.
Oh.
Let's go.
That was straight from Martin.
When the gods flip a coin, when Sarah Hess writes the gods flip a coin, and it mostly lands on good because she mostly does good.
She mostly does
that
good.
analogy doesn't work.
Some questionable plot ideas, i.e. Dragon Pit, but...
And I cannot forgive episode 9 of season 1. I hate it.
Yeah.
I
I
hate it more-
planned on doing this video before the season. I think I will now do it after. I did like a video a long time ago, the first bad episode of Game of Thrones, talking about controversially season 4, episode 10, The Children.
Which I'm with you on, actually. I'm with you.
I don't know if we've ever talked about that. I'm glad to hear that. Many aren't.
I don't think it's a bad episode, but I think it sets the stage for badness to come.
And it's such a
makes
microcosm for like the show as a whole. But I wanted to do the first bad episode of House of the Dragon, talking about season 1, episode 9. Which is not to say that no good episodes came after it. Very clearly not. But like, it's the first bad episode. And I would say it's not, I don't know. I don't think I dislike it as much as I dislike a couple episodes in season 2. Season 1, episode 9.
I think I do just because it's the biggest waste of potential. There are episodes in season 2 that are boring and the finale is lame, but
the finale is a combination of lame and the visions that you keep willing yourself to forget about.
Yes.
Glidus in the chat, if the children has no haters, I'm dead. I appreciate the vindication. And also I love that, like, in talking about it as a microcosm for the series, like, it starts out super well with the scenes in the north and then gets worse and worse and worse in quality and then ends with Arya sailing away from Westeros. It is the series, like.
But you have to admit, the Children of the Forest lobbing grenades, plasma grenades, that was fire.
Will we see grenades later on in the series if we see the children with more weird stuff at Harrenhal?
Will we see the green men on the Isle of Faces throwing frag grenades?
Flashbangs.
Flashbanging Aemond?
They've done like
I was just about to spoil something.
The fighter jet. I almost spoiled, I think, the same thing. They're using the fighter jet cloaking technology on Vhagar. That's what's going on.
The Mistress of Stealth.
Oh. What do we got next? Okay. Tyland's reappearance. It is so silly, but it really worked on me.
Of course it did.
It made me so happy.
Of course it did. Okay, I'm with, again, just to be boring, we're agreeing on everything. We need to argue more like 16 tons where I made a fool out of myself. No, I'm with you where he came up and I was like, this is really stupid. And I think it is, you do lessen the stakes of the show where anyone can die and Khal Drogo gets a cut and dies from infection, etc. When two characters fall into water in full plate armor and miraculously survive, it does kind of lessen the stakes, right?
Yeah.
But Tyrion Lannister's such a cool, fun character, and I love Jefferson Hall, and him just rocking up with that like look on his face, and like the camera stays on him for like a solid.
It's like a Marvel movie. It's excellent.
Yeah, it's like it's waiting for the audience.
There's an applause. It's like Spider-Man, whatever the one with all the Spider-Men is.
That would be Spider-Man.
All the Spider-Men.
No Way Home.
That's it. I always get the homes mixed up.
Towards Homeford.
I agree with the realism thing. I really think they should have just like, they directly said like you shouldn't be wearing armor when you fall in the ocean, and then the two named characters wearing armor who fell in the ocean survived. The solution is either don't have that comment or have one of them not wearing plate armor. They don't both need to be Victarion Greyjoy. I think that Tyland wearing armor makes more sense because he's not used to the sea. Is my thought.
And also, he does fall in
the rocks. So yeah, there's a lot more plausibility
where it's rocky. You can say he clung onto some rocks, clambered up the teeth, as they're called, take off his armor, swim across the narrow sea to the Crown Lands / go on a Triarchy boat. He's in the Crown Lands. King's Landing has fallen. What's the closest castle that has a green garrison? Apparently Rook's Rest. Unbeknownst to him, it's full of bandits, but he goes to Rook's Rest. I get the logic in like if I'm doing mental gymnastics, but it is fundamentally really goofy and kind of coincidental. And
I also I saw somebody on Twitter, I forget, I try to remember the names of things if I want to mention them. Somebody saying this was probably initially supposed to be an even bigger reveal because like Tyland was supposed to have vanished last season. That was supposed to be in like season 2, episode 9, and then we'd be catching up with him here in season 3, episode 3, not having seen him for 2 years.
Tyland would have fallen into the sea. Aemond would have collapsed from blood loss. Oh, are they dead? Are they dead? Next season, Aemond, he's in a bedroom. Tyland, he's wearing a hood. I'm here to talk about the Lannister Initiative. Audience goes wild.
That's pretty good.
Dun, dun,
I also,
dun.
it was interesting, the behind the scenes like thing, the episode explainer, Laris's actor, I believe his name's Matthew Needham, referenced Tyland showing up in this moment as kind of Laris's worst nightmare. Because like at this point, Laris finally gets Aegon to do what he wants. He gets him to like give in and go to Braavos, and he gives him an apple, which I thought was very cute. And then Tyland just shows up, and now it seems like things are kind of going to be different because not only did Tywin show up and they're arguing about what to do, Tyland wants to take Aegon back to Lannisport, which of course he would. But then during that argument, Aegon ends up killing Janos, the guy in charge, which like they both look very exasperated about, which I kind of get, but also like what else was Aegon going to do in that circumstance? Like he did exactly the right thing in exactly the right way.
Yeah. And you know, him sort of reclaiming that title, especially after being talked down to by Larys. Aegon isn't giving up. Aegon is like, no, I've still got my eyes on the throne. I'm not going to go on a suicide march to take down Aemond. I want the throne back. I want to prove that I can be a good king, and maybe he can be a good man again. Or maybe in his head is like, yeah, you're right, I'm a terrible man, but doesn't mean I can't be a terrible man and a good king. Screw you, Janos. I want the Iron Throne again. Yeah,
you may call me nice your moment. Grace.
Your grace. I wish he'd stabbed Janos with the with Sunfire's scale. Like
that would have been cool.
I would have loved to have seen the scale go in his neck, but I rewatched the scene and he stabs him with a dagger. You can see the black hilt. But yeah, and it's fun watching Larys and Tyland argue over
Aegon's two dads.
Yeah, their estranged parents arguing over like who gets to take him
custody
on the weekends. Yeah, he's like, you can have him on the weekends, I guess, in Braavos, but for Monday to Friday, he's going to be in Castle Rock, and that would be the new seat of the king. Even though they don't have dragons, so that would kind of be risky. But
Kenny in the chat is saying that Janos died too early. I could kind of see that in terms of not having an antagonist for this plot now, but I'm sure something else will come up. And another thing was in the trailer for next week, I thought it was really funny. There's like a brief shot of Larys and Aegon standing there as Tyland is like digging a hole for Janos's corpse because he's like the only able-bodied person in this contingent, which I found funny.
And he's got a couple of scratches on his face.
Yeah, and I liked that he like went to draw his blade as well, because like not only is Tylan like a good person to have on the side, and he knows where all the gold is, he is technically kind of their guard now, as the only one who really can use a sword.
He also has sellswords somehow.
Yes, it's Tyrion Lannister. He's Tyrion Lannister.
With what little gold I have, is like you don't have any gold. You fell into the water in full plate armor.
Neither did Tyrion.
You got, like a coin purse up your ass. Yeah, do you reckon he was like, I'm a Lannister, I can pay you back later.
I will give you the crown lands.
Maybe easier to convince Triarchy pirates of that than a bunch of clansmen even. So
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I think this adds an interesting wrinkle to the dynamics in a pretty cool way. Because, like, obviously Aegon and Larys have been paired together for, I think, exactly a season now. And it seemed like they're kind of the only people each other end up interacting with over that time, at least for the most part. And now having Tyland, who is another interested party involved, will be cool, I think.
The last time Aegon and Tyland had a proper discussion was when he was telling him to be a pony. Right?
Yes, I believe so.
What happened there, Quinn? You good?
Yeah, 1 second. I have to step away.
No, that's fine. I thought my internet had cut out. Speaking of parallels, we had Glidus in the chat earlier, and I genuinely distinctly remember doing a live stream with Quinn.
Hello.
Who I don't think he's at them. Oh, you're back?
Yes. Sorry,
I'm
I'm currently home. I'm taking the bar in the city where I grew up. And my dad and sister are at a family wedding in Ireland, and I'm cat sitting and house sitting, and somebody knocked on the door and scared the shit out of me. So all is good.
It's all good. I was just saying, we're addressing parallels earlier in this episode, right? Aegon, Aemond, etc.
Your favorite parallels.
Big parallel. The last time Aegon and Tyland had a proper chat was the whole Tyland horse reference. You should be give my son a pony ride. I remember us discussing that episode, discussing that moment 2 years ago on your channel, and Glidus was on the chat.
That's true. It's full circle.
Right? And now here he is, or at least maybe he's gone, but temporarily he popped in to say hi while Tyland and Aegon... What is going on? What is going on? Parallels. Thank you, George. You're a bravo, George R. R. Martin.
George R. R. Martin, famous writer of this show.
Yes.
Let's see.
I wonder if he's watching this and being like...
There's no way he isn't watching this.
Because he used to say like, oh, I haven't caught up on Game of Thrones. Like, no, you knew he was watching.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he's watching going, shit, this is kind of fire, actually? Damn.
I'm sure there are parts that have made him say that. I imagine he would really like Rhaenyra the Cruel. Or, sorry, Rhaenyra Triumphant.
I mean, to be fair, when he did his post about Season 2, he was like... He did say that he liked lots of Season 2.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, I hate this show. He was like, oh, man, I really like so many... Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, we have our escape attempt with Alicent's fourth failed plan of the day. Them disguising as maids and getting about 10 feet out of their room before getting caught by Mysaria. I feel like we've talked a lot about Mysaria and Alicent and Helena so far. Is there anything specific to this scene that we haven't touched
I guess
on?
we could bring up the offer that Alicent gives, where she's like, listen, don't tell Rhaenyra that Helena's pregnant, and in return, the High Towers will owe you a favor, which is, in my head, that's utterly absurd. She's a hostage, and she doesn't have much standing with House Hightower anyway because she's a woman, and we know what the Hightowers are like. She has no leverage whatsoever. There is nothing to stop Mysaria going, okay, cool, lol, and then walking off and just telling Rhaenyra. If Mysaria doesn't tell Rhaenyra about Helena's pregnancy, which I don't think she will, I will be really annoyed. Because why are you keeping that secret?
I think there's an angle.
I don't get it. I'm missing something because it just comes across as dumb to me. So
Mysaria knows that Aemond is still alive, that Aegon is still alive, and that Helena is currently carrying someone who could be a claimant to the throne. There are at least 3 Hightower potential claimants in play, while, Aemond, it's questionable whether he would have a good relationship with Alicent at this point, especially if he knew what she'd done, letting Rhaenyra in. I think that Alicent is kind of a window in there and could at least prevent Mysaria from getting killed in Mysaria's eye. I'm not sure. But also, I do think she should be hesitant to trust the Hightowers, given her previously working with Otto Hightower and getting burned literally for it.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, I like Alicent sowing seeds of doubt in her mind, being like, listen, at the end of the day, Rhaenyra and Daemon are two sides of the same coin. You're always going to be the outcast. You could easily lose power at any moment. Like, I like her throwing that in there. And you could see Mysare's like, shit, you're kind of right.
Yeah.
But being like, hey, you know, I'll owe you. Like, you have nothing to offer. You have, I don't know.
I think it makes sense that you'd want to hedge her bets, but I do question whether she would, you know, hide this specific information.
Yeah. Can we talk about Helena saying that she needs to see the moon?
Yes, there are some very very famous old theories that I did not think would be remarked upon in any show ever. I think that's old Preston stuff, right? I think it's older than that, but I think he was the one who most like talked about it.
There's more than one moon theory, so I genuinely don't know which one you're specifically.
The one that I've always heard from that source primarily is that the moon is this like satellite, not like a literal satellite as we would think about it, but like a way to amplify psychic signals between individuals who are communicating, because a lot of these like weirwood and strange visions happen under the light of a full moon, and Martin has a lot of sci-fi elements in the story, and maybe him having this celestial body that is connected to magic would make sense. And additionally we have the comet, which is obviously signaling magic in and of itself. So there are a lot of connections between, you know, these celestial bodies and magic, and some people think that the moon amplifies these things.
The moment you said satellite, I started zoning out, but you pulled me back in the end.
That's good to hear.
That'll be fun. You don't think she's a werewolf, then? You don't agree with what she
not
she might
not
be
to my knowledge.
You don't think she's a werewolf? Hey, anything can happen.
If anybody's a werewolf, I would probably be Starks, no?
Oh, of course. Starks are werewolves, Boltons are vampires.
True. Targaryens are lizard people who control the government.
100% true. I mean, literally.
Literally, shit. Yes.
What did George mean by this?
Good question.
Also, before we move on to the next slide, Fia Saban dressed as a maid, a wooga.
Okay, let's not.
Aemond.
I will say, this is bad for your bingo, because I think you thought that this was a vision for Aemond.
No.
Alicent in that costume?
Oh, no, I didn't actually.
I saw a lot of people speculating that. I thought that was part of your vision.
No. I just, if anything, I thought there'd be young Alicent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, no. I actually, I'd seen when they released the picture of her as in the maid outfit, I thought like Rhaenyra had made her dress up as a maid in like a kind of a sign of disrespect.
Yeah. Could you move it like over to the left a little bit? We're missing the E and the D.
Oh, of course.
Thank you kindly.
Of course.
You want to take the lead on this one?
Aemond's regained his aura. He's still healing. I'm skipping ahead. We have 4 Ironborn who are scaling the walls. It's the first time we see
they Ironborn.
Yeah, because one of them grabs Alice and says, "I'm gonna make you my salt wife."
What? Really? I missed that.
Yeah. It's our I mean, we've had the Red Kraken mentioned previously, but this is the first time we see Ironborn. Oh, and they've got the big beards and the grisly voices. I'm like, who are these guys? And one of them grabs Alice and says, "I'm going to make you my salt wife." They're Ironborn who are come to collect the bounty. That's a fun little Ironborn cameo.
Yeah.
And they get wiped out by Aemond, who comes in with Blackfire, and even wounded, he can take 4 men on at once.
I love his hair as well.
Oh yeah, just messy and kind of, he's looking a bit bedraggled. It looks awesome, and he's got his eye patch back on. Aemond's coming back, baby. He cuts 3 of them down, and then the 4th one, he makes a weirwood sacrifice unintentionally.
All of these guys.
Yeah, but
we saw
especially the guy who he shoved through a root.
Yeah, and it's also obviously paralleling Daemon in the same spot with the sacrifice of Blackwood last season. And at that point, we saw things kind of turn around for Daemon. That was after that, we get the vision of Viserys offering him the crown, showing Daemon everything he ever wanted. And then in refusing that, he ends up having these other visions that we've already discussed a bit this stream. But it seems like that was the point where Daemon gained the favor of Harrenhal. And this could be maybe Aemond doing the same thing accidentally.
please give us an Aemond vision, even if it's just one. Yeah, I know Ryan Condal's actually
Give us
maybe doesn't
Luke.
want to.
Luke in an Aemond vision.
Give us Luke or Alicent or Aegon or Daeron. This the only way.
That's
we
the
could
only
actually
way.
Potentially.
Potentially.
The only way we could see all the siblings soon
Yeah.
would be in a vision. But yeah.
I did have a problem with this scene, and it's probably not an unexpected one.
It's probably the same thing we discussed last stream, right?
Correct. There has been a lot of, there's been a lot of assault this season. I would say too much. We are 4 for 5 episodes on that being shown on screen, either it itself or the attempt of it. And it's not great. It doesn't feel like they're saying or doing anything with it. It's just kind of seemingly being shown for shock value. I don't know why, and it's not good. It's my biggest issue with the season so far.
They've all been used to benefit another character.
Yes.
In some way. So one was to show the difference between Gwaine and Kristen's mindset. One was used to make Ironrod look more villainous for some reason. One was used to show Ormond's response and his strange moral code, and led into some story stuff later on. And this one was to make these people almost like more disgusting so that we can root for Aemond, who himself is a villain, coming in and slaying them. There's never been any focus on
the
victims themselves
or on
or the aftermath.
There's no weight to it. It's like just a thing that keeps happening.
There's no weight to it. Which isn't to say that you can't portray assault tastefully. It isn't to say that the only tasteful portrayal means you cut away. That's not true. You can show it and be tasteful if it fits the tone and the story. And it doesn't mean that every portrayal needs to specifically focus on a victim. You can focus on the perpetrator or people around it, right? But when it's 4 times in 5 episodes, and every time it's essentially shock value, and it doesn't focus on the victim or the aftermath, it's purely to make someone seem worse or to show someone's blah blah blah.
It's what people thought Game of Thrones was, and it reminds me of Game of Thrones in it being bad about that. I think in different ways, but I don't think that the original show had this issue of it being so constant. Like, the only episode it hasn't occurred this season was the one we were entirely from Rhaenyra's perspective. Like, every other episode. It's insane.
And it's not being counterbalanced with any, healthy sex.
Exactly.
Or any healthy intimacy. And there's a part of me that just thinks, I'm not saying that this is necessarily a show that screams for that, but I would like to see that.
I agree, and I think season 1 had that. Like, there were scenes in that vein, like Daemon and Rhaenyra, and all of episode 4, really.
Game of Thrones had that,
and season 2, seasons 2 and 3 of this show have just felt very removed from that very human element that I think is essential to Martin's work. Like, love is a core thing in Martin's work, and that can include the physical elements as well as the emotional. And I don't know. I think that in broadening its scale and becoming a show about this war, we not only lost that, but the writers seem compelled to only show this terrible depiction of it and the worst it can be in war again and again and again without saying anything about it. And it's really bad.
I'm fine. I maintain that I'm fine with the one in episode 1. In Kristen's camp, and I'm fine with the one in Tumbleton. It's the horrors of war and how characters react to it. The Iron Rod one was utterly absurd, and the one in this episode was just frivolous almost. It felt very.
They could have
Game of Thrones.
Threatened her, threatened to kill her, and the same result would have been.
No, I'm fine with him being you can be my salt wife. I like that. There's shit, Ironborn. But he fully grabs her and says, I'm gonna fuck you, and grabs her leg and starts pulling her dress, and all that stuff is yeah, it's just, again, I'm not someone who's squeamish, and I'm not someone who super has an issue with this kind of thing. I'm more I'm bringing up issues I've heard other people say, because I understand why other people have those issues. I want them expressed via stream, Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it is better for the rest of the season. I had hoped it was better by this point.
I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe considering the sort of interesting mother figure role Alice is playing for Aemond and how weird Aemond is psychologically, maybe we will see some intimate healthier,
I could see
quote
that.
unquote, consensual stuff going on in the future between those two characters. Who knows?
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see. And hopefully that would be done well, but yeah, that was my main issue with this episode. I think this episode is at an 8 for me, and I think that is what prevents it from being a 9.
For me, the thing that prevents it from being a 10 is that it doesn't quite have the extra oomph to make it like this is a glorious episode. And there are issues I have like Thailand and
Yeah.
this and I think anyway.
Anyway,
I did like this scene, by the way.
Other than that, like, if you remove that 5 seconds, I would really like this scene.
Yeah, it's a great sword fight as well.
Yeah.
And I really want to see more of Aemond and Alice.
Yeah. But that brings us into the kind of confluence of scenes that end up kind of acting as a conclusion to the episode, all being narrated by Kristen. So we get to the end of this march. They've failed. The crossing has been burned before them. Gwen says, okay, it's time to cut our losses. Let's go to Tumbleton. Ormond probably has something going on. We'll figure it out. I've offered you this position at Old Town. What are we doing here? And then Kristen finally like lays everything bare and effectively says, I have been living my life in service to these people for so long, and I just want to die in my own service, which he's been trying to do in one way or another since he beat Joffrey Lonmouth to death.
Yeah, he's failed his oaths. He's sullied his honor. He's stained his cloak. He slept with Rhaenyra. He slept with Alicent. He's been used. He feels like he's been used by Rhaenyra. He feels like he's been used by the Greens, you know, as a knight, as a hand, as a commander. And he's like, I want to go back to season 1, episode 1, where I'm a great tourney knight who beat Daemon Targaryen. I want to have a legacy, and I want to go down on my own terms, not fighting for anyone. At this point, he's not even fighting for the Greens. He's doing it for him.
Yeah.
He's doing a suicide march to go down as a brave, noble warrior that people will sing about. But he hasn't fully detached himself from everything in his life prior to that kind of Rook's Rest PTSD. He still has an attachment to Alicent. He still clearly has some kind of feelings for her. And it's interesting when you contrast them, where I know he said in season 1 that he wanted to marry Rhaenyra to regain his honor, but I kind of almost think that was a cover for 100% him being in love and being spurned. And then he goes, oh, that she's frivolous and she's licentious and she's a whore and she wants me to be her side piece. And I thought she loved me and I thought I loved her. And then he latches himself onto a more, in his mind, faithful and virtuous woman who then he has a sexual relationship with. But he can never be with her just as he could never be with Rhaenyra. So he's like, yep, once again, I'm just marching off to death because I can't have the woman I want. And I'm broken after Rook's Rest. And oaths and honor have no meaning, and it's very very ice and fire. Men would rather die in a pointless Riverland skirmish than go to therapy.
Correct. I love Cole's character so much. He's a terrible guy and a obviously very bad person, and I see so many people kind of having difficulty disconnecting that from how incredible generally the writing around him has been for, I would say, most of this show. Other than, him beating a guy to death with no consequences. But, his actual character writing has, I think, been some of the best.
I don't even know how I feel. I'm going to have to put my thoughts together for future streams and stuff. Because, because I don't think he's a very strongly written character. But
I think he was one of the most strongly written characters in season 2. I think he had a really great arc there. Unsure how I feel about this season. I think that we need the full picture, but
remains to be seen. We need to watch the full season for that. I think he was kind of kneecapped early in season 1 in a way I didn't like, and so it's kind of stained my view of him.
It's a Rainy situation where he's connected to one of the events that feels like the worst in the show, and the characters. It's not
just the bizarre wedding scene and that murder, but it's also what he gets up to in a Green Council episode, and it's just. I feel like he was kneecapped from the start, and it stopped me from getting invested in him, even though I really appreciate him in season 2 and so far also season 3. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, but this speech kind of continues as we have 2 other scenes going on at the same time. Helena and Alicent find this secret passage in their room, which is really cool. The passages in the Right to Keep are a recurring theme throughout the books. We see Varys make very good use of them to kill Kevin and Pycelle in the most recent chapter in the series. But we find that as they go further in, the path is blocked, bricked off by someone at some point. I don't know when that would have exactly occurred, but we see Helena drop the lamp, and the two of them are left in darkness in the wall with the door behind them closed, which is a little bit terrifying.
Yeah, I don't really know where this is going.
Same. I think it's gonna be they're like caught in an escape attempt, pretty clearly.
Yeah, yet another escape attempt.
Yeah.
This feels like a stretch, but on my bingo I have Helena and Sunfire meeting. I hope these secret tunnels lead to the Dragon Pit and we get Helena and fucking Dreamfire.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Let Helena meet her dragon, damn it. And as they're going through this tunnel, and in fact, as the whole outro montage is happening, we hear Kristen's prayer, which, just to quickly feed back into the previous slide, we talked about this before the stream started for a bit, which is they filmed it in two different ways. One where Fabian Frankel was giving this like aggressive, rousing morale speech of, the stranger will let us rest, blah blah blah, and then the other option they did was a calmer sermon, Father protect us, and they went for the calmer version.
Which one did you think is immaculate choice.
Yeah, I think I agree. I would have liked to have seen a hype one, but
that last line is so haunting, though. With that last frame, which we'll get to in a second. Oh,
yeah. In fact, I don't really have much.
I was gonna say let's move on to that last scene. We get the Last Supper. Daemon investigating this trail of blood and finding a number of gold cloaks slaughtered, including Sir Luther Largent, who, we were talking about this before the stream, I think is the first character in this show to be killed before their book counterpart is killed. Luther Largent survives until what would be probably early mid to season 4 in the book.
And he is outlived by Gwaine, who he kills. Book, which is hilarious. Yeah, I gotta say, Perkin the Flea, if that is him committing these murders, he's an artist. This is stylish as hell.
Do you think he was inspired by The Last Supper?
I mean, this shot definitely was.
No, Perkin specifically.
It didn't go overboard. Like at first, I was like, "Oh, this isn't like a 1-for-1 recreation," because I would actually hate that, but it isn't. But yeah, no, this is a great grisly ending. That's not really a thing that happens in a book. Like you do obviously have like unrest, but this is like targeted. This is a complete like a demoralizing campaign against the Blacks in King's Landing, and it's brutal as hell, and I love it.
I love Damon's expression here too. He looks truly kind of horrified in a way we haven't seen him much.
The last time we saw him give this expression was confronting Rhaena and finding out the truth about Sheepstealer, and also learning about Simon Strong's death. We're seeing more and more vulnerability from Daemon. He does actually have allies and friends that he cares for, and like they've been butchered in front of him.
Light and dark in equal parts.
And this is, as I mentioned in my quickie review, feel free to check that out on my channel, guys. That's just me rambling for 10 minutes about the episode. But it's like the Sons of the Harpy, but not boring.
I'll go to bat for the Sons of the Harpy a little bit. I think people just don't like Marine.
Can I clarify what? That's more of a comment on the show.
Okay, sure. I thought we were talking about the book.
I don't like Marine in books, but just
Sons of the Harpy in the show were especially limp.
Yeah, like seeing this is more exciting than anything we saw from the Harpies in Game of Thrones. The Sons of the Harpy or whatever. Because the whole anyway.
Yeah, good scene, good ending.
Yeah.
That last line, "Stranger grant us rest," with this shot.
I will post one more thing if we have nothing else to add, because we have talked extensively about this.
Yes, we have.
I'm not sure, but one more thing to add, which is the concept art.
Oh yeah, the essay on the wall.
Yeah, a feast for traitors with the compliments of King Daeron. It does kind of go hard, but I think it's too much.
I think it should have been longer. I think there should be more words.
It should be like a. It's like Ormond chapter 1.
It's Ormond's manifesto. That
the
is, I
high
love that
tower
concept
festo.
art though. That's very cool.
It's great concept art. And I like that they removed it though, not just because it's a bit too visually busy.
Yeah.
But also I don't think it makes sense as a propaganda play. Like
Yes.
compliments of King Daeron, the word in the street would just be supporters of King Daeron, not just, killed Rhaenyra's tyrannical cops, but like butchered them like absolute psychopath. Like this is not a good look for Daeron,
No.
So having it be this just kind of they were found butchered, it's a lot more vague than explicitly making a Daeron thing, and it could lead into unrest that isn't necessarily even pro Daeron. It's just anti Rhaenyra, anti Daemon, anti Goldcloak. People feeling like they can fight back against these men.
Yeah. Very good final scene.
Good stuff.
Shall we do some super chats and then get into the bingo?
I think we can quickly do new characters and in
Oh, I
memoriam
forgot about
before
that.
super
Yes,
chats.
new characters.
And then we have bingo and spoiler talk.
That
and
is a
will
very
be fun.
high
When do
quality
you have to?
cat image.
Yeah.
Also, Joffrey's blocked by the chat box.
Higher quality than the Piper image. Oh, I'll move that for you. When do you have to dip, Quinn? Is it a
By 7.
by 7? Oh, we've got a good time then. Oh wait. Oh God. Oh no. I'm
Wrong
so sorry,
side.
Cat. Oh my God. Wait. No. I know. Wait. Goodness sake. There's Joffrey. Right, so new characters. No new characters
None.
were introduced this episode. Oh, the cat's also not showing. I'm so sorry. But we did see the return of Lord Piper, which is cool. Let's give us some more Crownland lords. We saw the return of Lady Frey. We don't see her husband. I hope we can see her husband again, but Lady Frey was the more interesting of the two. We see Joffrey again. I'm just piling them all here. We see Joffrey again, sleeping. Is he going to have any lines? Is Rhaenyra going to interact with him? I don't know. Ryan Condal... look at Duncan Egg. You can work with child actors, and it does work out fine. And we see a bunch of kiddies introduced to the Red Keep because Alan has brought a bunch of ship cats to hunt down the rats,
Which we will get to in bingo.
and we'll get to in the next slide in memoriam, because we do need to say probably rest in peace to the 100 rats, not 100 rats. Sorry, just however many rats there are.
Thousands, assumedly.
Thousands. Rest in peace. There might be more coming, but the rats and what they represented as a metaphor, maybe they're being hunted down by cats.
Look at this
The
all-star
vermin are being
cast of
replaced-
killed characters.
The vermin are being replaced with predators. Does that say something? Is that a metaphor for something? I don't know. But Piper re-emerged only to be immediately shanked by Kristen. I like that they brought back an old character.
Yeah, me too.
And Luthor Largent, loved the actor, super charismatic, badass.
Wish we
Wish
got
he'd
more of
stayed
him.
for longer. Yeah, but he also had a cool.
Yeah,
ending
I'm not.
scene as
I've
well.
seen people complain about him dying earlier in the show than the book. I think this is perfect.
It ruins the storyline. Oh, butterflies. No, it doesn't.
Not in this
In fact,
instance.
I don't even think it's a spoiler to say what happens in the book. He gets killed by an angry mob.
Yes, correct. He's torn apart like
This
the High
is-
Septon in season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Of
similar. It's
Game
a
of
similar
Thrones.
concept. There are forces in the city that are fighting against Rhaenyra. This one's more calculated and brutal. The one in the book is more spontaneous, and that could happen to other characters potentially. But it's not one of those fan fiction. They're writing fan fiction. If I see the word fan fiction again in relation to House of Dragon, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm so tired of seeing that word, especially yeah. Ugh,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's do some super chats and then we can hit the bingo. Thank you, first off, to Longshanks1690. Of course, the Ice and Fire play got delayed. That is very on brand. Thank you to Malcolm Ferguson. Laris, you had every advantage. Firstborn son, the finest knights to train you. So strong they called you Breakbones, and you threw it all away to delay with another man's wife. Wait, who was I talking about again? That's funny. I didn't pick up on that. He might have been
repeat that
projecting a
super
bit about
chat?
his own brother. What was that?
sorry. What super chat was that? Sorry.
That was the second one. Laris, you had every advantage. Firstborn son, the finest knights to train you. So strong they called you the Breakbones, and you threw it all away to lay with another man's wife.
Yeah. Oh, that no. Good point. Good point.
I hadn't
Yeah,
caught
he's
that. I love
easily-
characters projecting, and they do it a lot in this show.
Yeah.
Thank you to Pioneer 10F. Unbowed and unbent, however, the war is filled with broken men. Thank you for asking. I'm fine. How are you? Coinage played a part this time. I am good. I'm glad you're well as well. Thank you to a dude who loves Ice and Fire. I haven't watched the episode, but I am watching the stream. Very much appreciate it. That's the way everybody should do it. Thank you to Lord Peasbury. I have a lot of sympathy for you, Lord Quinn. I know how it feels when nobody else cares about your favorite character. Many care about John Con, of course. Muadweeb, thank you very much. Where TF are Aegon and Viserys? That's a big issue. Do you think they're going to be addressed at all this season?
I hope so. I mean, I assume last we saw them, they were being taken across the narrow sea to live with Prince Reggio in Pentos, you know, Daemon's friend. Will we get a letter like they are safely at the palace or something? I don't know. Let's remind the audience they exist. Yeah, please,
because they are. That's the thing. In terms of the show having major departures from the books, that is a pretty big one, and we need at least one of them back at some point fairly soon.
Yeah,
for things to make sense.
I don't know what they're cooking.
Thank you to Lord Peasbury. Did anyone else ship the Piper Maiden with the Dairy Plowman? I've not heard of sigil shipping before, but it's a good idea.
Shut the fuck up.
Let's see. Thank you to Quick Save. God, I love this episode. I quite liked it too. And then another one from Quick Save. Haven, you have to hand your channel over to Alex. I listened to the stream at work on Sunday and watched the episode a few hours later on Monday, and that mad lad called it on his take on coinage.
Yeah, no, Alex and I had a big chat about coining, and we were both surprised. We were like, oh, you know, Aegon and Rhaenyra should be minting their own coins. That would be cool. And Alex was like, maybe that wouldn't work for a TV show. Maybe casual audiences aren't, because we're both former history students, right? So, yeah. But it's like, no, we literally got immediately the next episode.
That's so funny.
No, Alex's takes are really good. I'll probably be doing another stream with them later this week about episode 5.
Thank you to Lord Mullendor, who asks a very important question. At what point will we see Gambus and Frey and Rosetta Stone team up to find the missing Kermit and Elmo Tully? I'm glad both of our shame can be displayed like that.
The in-jokes will get increasingly esoteric until not even we can remember the origin.
Yeah. Thank you to Quick Save again. Again, I love this episode. Are you guys seeing what I'm saying? Aemond, Aegon, Daeron, Rhaenyra, Helena. I think saying parallels between the siblings, which were excellent this episode. They're a little less on Rhaenyra because she is kind of removed from them. And then another from Quick Save listing more characters. Alice, Massaria, Gwaine, Kristen, Adam, Bela, Roddy, Oscar, Luther, Orwyle, Damon, Manderly, Laris, Alan, and the Freys. And who can forget Tyland and poor little tired Joffrey. It was very much everyone is here except for the two guys on screen. I did miss Ulf a lot this episode.
Yeah, I miss my boy Ulf. I miss Hugh.
Yeah.
I want some more of Hugh.
Same. He's not had much to do this season.
Ulf's very well characterized.
Hugh less
I've
so.
been happy. Hugh's letting me down a bit this season.
Maybe they're saving it.
I want to see the guy who screamed in Vermithor's face and earned his respect.
I think they're saving it for this point with his wife like a captive in Tumbleton. I think this is going to be interesting from here on in. Thank you to Cusco Full. When I see Tyland return, you're as beautiful as the day I lost you. That was about my response as well. Thank you to Alice Stark. We all know you hate women characters, Lord Haven, but what do you think about Miriam Martell?
I think she's the greatest military mind that a woman's ever possessed, although in exchange the gods divulged her of her beauty. She was blind, hairless, thick of waist. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
These streams do really have Ormond Daeron vibes, don't they? Thank you to Longshanks again. The other John Connington reference with Gwaine wanting to bring Kristen to the top of his castle to show how beautiful his land is. Yeah, I referenced this earlier too. Very cool reference, and I do think that was maybe intentional. That is a very iconic Connington line. Thank you to Cusco Full. One thing I like about this season is the critique of meritocracy and the advantages of birth. You could be a kingdom's greatest warrior, yet you remain a mere servant, yet be a prince and mediocre. That was interesting, seeing the kind of mirror images of Aegon and Kristen as well. I hadn't even considered them as kind of commenting on the other. Thank you to oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, maybe there is a reason the word unbroken wasn't in the title when we look at a bunch of characters of this episode.
Nah, I think they probably just forgot.
Nah.
Yeah. Thank you to Muad'Dib. The only thing the coin was missing was Daeron's name. It might have had it. It might have just been too small or in like on the other side or something. We didn't get a super good... I mean, the coin has a very good image that we put up as well, so maybe they
I'll
just
double
didn't
check. I'll go back and have a look while you're answering.
Thank you. Thank you to Cusco Full. My hope for Ormond is that he is killed by Tessarion. It'd be so poetic for a female Valyrian creature to be his end. That would be really cool. I think I'd like that too. Thank you to Jaros Lav Jurison. Arnold as Eustace Augsbury. Make it happen. That'd be pretty good. I'm excited to see Eustace. Yeah, no text on the front of that coin. Maybe there's some on the back, but I do think we could use...
Yeah, it might be on the other side.
Yeah. Thank you to
on the first.
Julian Kerr. House of the Dragon has become a noir detective story. I am excited to see more of that plot unfold. Damon pretending to be a gold cloak again.
Yeah. Although it's not so much of a murder mystery, because I'm pretty sure it's...
We know who's doing it.
Yeah, Heterochromia guy and his Guttonites would be my guess.
But it is kind of fun, like, to have a mystery that we know the answer to, but the characters don't. Dramatic irony type stuff.
Yeah, and to be fair, maybe it's not them. Maybe they're just delivering the Ravens the messages, but
maybe it's like a Fight
Club
Club situation.
Ooh,
it's Damon.
Damn.
Yeah. Thank you to Brandon Price. Glad to finally catch a stream with both of you. What's a glass candle? A glass candle is a magical device that exists in the book. It is a candle made of dragonglass, obsidian, that when lit can supposedly cause the user to have visions and see into the dreams of others. There's one burning at the Citadel at Story Present in A Feast for Crows. Thank you to Alioka Squeaky Boy. Fantasy Haven, are you going to see Shift and Glidus when they're in the UK? Have a mini Ice and Fire YouTuber con, parentheses, sorry, Quinn.
I'm not seeing the play the same time I believe that they are. I won't say when they are because that's a private thing. But yeah, I'm seeing it at a different time. In theory, I'd love to meet the both of them, but I'm probably not happening. But I'm sure there'll be loads of opportunities in the future if either of them are ever in England or I'm ever in Australia or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Thank you to
Or when Wins comes out and we all have a massive 20-man Song of Ice and Fire YouTuber.
That's pretty good. The Great Debate.
Yo.
Thank you to Julian Kerr, who says Master of Gutter Knights. I assume that was talking about Perkin there. Thank you to SGH. Thoughts on if The Broken Man is the title for episode 6 after Unbowed and Unbent, The Broken Man being Kristen and replacing Unbroken. I don't think so, because that was an episode title fully in Game of Thrones. And if I had to guess, there's a very strong title for next episode already set in stone. I don't think saying it is a spoiler, because if you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. But Butcher's Ball, I think, is the title of the next one.
Are they're gonna be dancing?
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna be a big party. DreamWorks dance finale. That's what this show needs.
Disney musical number with all the butchers in King's Landing, just kind of.
We need an Ice and Fire musical show.
Yo, well, Duncan Egg was half.
That is a good point. Thank you to Barry Scannell. Guys, I'm going to the opening night of the Mad King in England on Saturday. Have fun. I am very jealous. Let me know if there is any Connington.
I am going to avoid leaks and reviews for a month if I can, because I want to go in blind, but
I'm eating everything up immediately.
I'm sure you will. Yeah, I will try to avoid that stuff. And when I do watch it in a month's time, I will do a review and or live stream discussing it. But,
that'd be cool. Thank you to Quick Save. Why does Tylan give Benjen Stark vibes? Maybe the hood. I think he also has a pretty big nose, both of them. Mua Dweeb, thank you again.
Benjen Stark.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
ahead.
I was just going to say, Benjen's got like a sharp nose. Thailand has a nose I'd describe as slightly bulbous.
Mm-hmm. Squidward.
Please go ahead.
Thank you to Mua Dweeb. I'm guessing Thailand got picked up by a Lannister ship. Lannisters didn't have ships at the Gullet, so it could have been a Triarchy ship, but I think that is pretty likely. Thank you to Professor Kraken. Lost Greyjoy brother, must be. I have no funny, disparaging comment about John Con right now, just showing my support. Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Both of those things. Thank you to Kuzco Full. Helena looks so cute in the maid outfit. I agree. I think it was a fun look. This one is Fire and Blood spoilers, so I will save that until the end. Laris calling Aegon the Terrible Man is nonsense. Alice wanting Harrenhal but not delivering Aemon to get Harrenhal, also nonsense. The writing room is a disgrace. I think that Alice kind of sees another route to Harrenhal, and that Aemon might be more powerful if kept as kind of a weapon for her use than like just delivering him right to Rhaenyra. in my opinion.
And as we mentioned before, I don't think Laris is calling Aemond a morally bad person. He's saying that he's a waste of space who squandered. Aegon is a waste of space who squandered his life and the opportunities given to him on birth, whereas Laris had to fight for it. And so, he's pissed off with him.
Yeah. Also, someone in the chat says Tylan gives real Hugh of the Vale vibes. Thank you to Kuzco Full. Do you know how much therapy costs? I'd rather die in some petty skirmish in the Riverlands. Valid. Lord Baratheon, thank you. Are you guys ever gonna play? Are you guys sad they never adapted the best line in all of A Song of Ice and Fire? The rats play when the cat is gone. I'm heartbroken over that. Personally.
My favorite line.
I have it tattooed on my back.
The rats play as the cat is gone, but he will return once he's filled with milk, and he will hunt the rats and sit his furry butt upon the throne.
Yeah,
is the full quote. Yeah.
I believe that's correct. Thank you to Longshanks. Allison being shocked that a mother would love her children, want to keep and defend and be around them is the single funniest thing in the show.
Allison's like, why is my daughter so weird? She wants to keep the kid.
In fairness, I meant to say this earlier when we were talking about Allison. Very strong Otto vibes from Allison this episode.
I would have loved that from season 1, if I'm being honest.
Agree. Thank you to Kyle Varon. Alicent isn't written consistently between episodes. She was counseling Rhaenyra about Ormond last episode. Now she wants to escape. Do you agree? To an extent, though I also think that's kind of disregarding the big thing that has changed between that scene and these ones, which is her learning of Helena's pregnancy.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's inconsistent.
Agreed. And then thank you to Lord Mullendor. Where is the Royce that should be in King's Landing? Is that a Fire and Blood thing? Should there be a Royce?
Yes, there should be a Royce wielding the Valyrian steel sword Lamentation, which gets lost during a future plot point. There should be a Royce, but they're not going to have every single side
That is
character.
true. There are a lot of characters in the show. And then last super chat at present from Good God-Fearing Christian. Fire and Blood spoilers. Do you think they'll combine Maelor and Gaiman? It's not much weirder than Ray Nettles, and I don't know why they'd reintroduce Maelor just to bitterbridge him. Also, shout out Vizzy too. That's an interesting idea, and I think that's one of the better ideas I've heard for what they could do with a Maelor introduced at this point.
I can't find that super chat.
It's an older one.
Okay.
Yeah, what I've been doing, I don't have any formal way to keep track. I've been screenshotting them on my phone as they come in.
Dude, okay.
We're very technically competent here at Quinn the GM. And we have one more quick save. Not to detract from how amazing this episode is, but who stole all the character relationships and arcs from season 2 and put them in this episode? Yeah, I wish they'd been more consistently applied.
Yeah, it's a Hot D is a messy show that I think works despite the messiness.
Agreed.
Through sheer grit.
Yeah. Also, I see Longshank saying in the chat, fake Daeron will be Gaiman or Trystane. I think fake Daeron will be Trystane, but Gaiman is unaccounted for. He could be that child from the fighting pits in season 1. I think that's also more likely.
Yeah.
But we have about 5 minutes before I have to go. Shall we do bingo?
Let's do bingo. Move on to bingo. And in terms of spoiler things we wanted to say, I have them listed down if you wanted to one sentence each of them. Do you want a spoiler or bingo first?
Bingo first.
Bingo first. So, looking at your bingo,
Syvas.
Lo and behold, Syvas has appeared. Your glorious super chatter has saved you there.
My super chat's been doing pretty well. 100 cats, obviously.
Yes, the cat. There. Yes, this is why I delayed it. I wanted to see the cats. We have seen the cats.
And then we didn't talk about it really, but younger kids aged up. Joffrey, who we see and doesn't speak in this episode, seems like 4 years older than when we last saw him in the Vale.
Is it the same actor?
I don't think so.
I before we tick that, I want to look up who's playing him.
Okay.
I would do that in between this episode and the next.
Sounds good. So we'll put a pin in that.
He was covered in bed. I couldn't quite tell whether.
We might see that better in the future, but that's
honestly,
contingent.
Vhagar burning shit in the Riverlands by herself? Do you want to put
that
as oops?
I would say that's an oops. Yeah.
Is that an oops, or do we need to wait a bit to see where that's going?
I think it can be combined with the sheep stealer stuff in the first episode to be a collective oops.
It's two half oops making a big oops.
Yeah. It is the same actor, people are saying, so
So in that case, technically they would be
Technically,
aged up,
not really. It was just 2 years.
but that's still aged up by 2 years.
Yeah. Let's say no
Like,
for now, but we can circle back.
Okay.
But then yours. What do we got for that?
Oh God. If any, all right. No Marston Waters, no Glass Candle, no Westling. Christian Cole Visions. I'm gonna put a skull there. That's just he's not in Aaron Hall anymore. Helena and Dreamfire could happen. Bartimos is not on the council. I think we can officially.
Oh my God, dude.
He did return in episode 1.
I'll give you Maylor. I will give you Maylor.
It's still not confirmed that it's a boy, but yeah, I think. It's
I think at this point the spirit is there.
Yes, thank you for that at least.
You're welcome.
Dayron still hasn't been called Dayron the Daring. The Cole thing remains to be seen. Have you established we're in spoilers?
We're spoilers.
Spoilers. Bingo is spoilers. Don't so. Cole death next episode. We'll see if it's word for word. I'm specifically looking for. Yeah. Anyway. Dragon DUI not confirmed yet. Young Allison don't know. Unwin no. We got a peak reference, but not Unwin.
Not Unwin.
We've only seen one titty, which continues to baffle me. Aemond isn't even having visions, so that's Red Kraken reference. No, but we had Ironborn. Daemon on foot. We need the Tumbleton thing for an explanation. And Daeron has not played his loot. I think I might get 1 or 2 more by the end of the season. I think I'm fucked.
I think you have exactly one. You have a couple angles, I think.
Do I?
You could get the exact center row. I think word for word Cold Death is likely. Daron the Daring could happen. Dragon DUI could happen. Or you could get the 4th row up and down.
I mean, you could argue that if Ulf is canonically a drunk, you could argue any time he's on a dragon is Dragon DUI.
I feel like we would need to actually have more to that. But we also have one more super chat that I should address from Stan Bailey. Where is Alfred Broom? That's a good question. I don't know.
We got Lord Piper and not Alfred Broom. It would be insane if he doesn't come back because they went out of their way to set him up in season 2, and you even had the wind whispering, calling him a traitor in Harrenhal, which was a moment I hated.
Same.
Yeah, if he then disappears, that would just be a random blot on season 2 of like random character who doesn't come back.
Yeah.
No, he's either coming. To be fair, I didn't know Lord Piper was returning or Lady Frey, so like him returning just because it hasn't been in any leaks or anything doesn't mean he's not doing it, because I didn't expect Lady Frey coming back. And in terms of spoilers, do you want me to read off the things?
Yes.
So you read off the super chat already. You wanted to say something about Mushroom.
I thought, wouldn't it be fucking hilarious if he was just on Dragonstone when Aegon got there? I almost said that, just like out, but yeah.
He's just maxing, like dancing, he turns around, he's like, oh god, immediately beheaded.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
That's all we get. Or maybe he'll be brought to court by Torrin Manderley. Caltrops, the Caltrops that
Gwen is going to be a Caltrop for sure.
Yes, I agree. I think Ormond's probably dying end of the season.
Yeah,
we're going to have Gwen,
mostly
John Roxton.
I could see. Obviously, I think one Hightower is going to survive the first Tumbleton. But I could see Gwen dying in the way Hobart does, sacrificing himself like that, and I could not see Ormond doing it.
The only issue is that if Ormond dies, I think you need Unwin Peak in.
Yes.
But then for casual audiences, as I've mentioned before, you're replacing like a scheming psycho lord with another one, and you might just be like, why not just keep Ormond?
Maybe Ormond could still be in the. He could be the Hightower in the Caltrops, and he could kill Ulf as like a end the Valyrians thing, kill the dragons.
Maybe, but I do feel like the point.
I think
of
it fits Gwen better.
The point of the Caltrop, yeah, because like the power, there's a power vacuum because the charismatic commander is dead, and then the 2 betrayers are able to take over, which leads to the conspiracy. Ormond dying can throw his men into chaos, right? So I think he kind of needs to, but it'll be a shame because Ormond's really fucking cool.
He's really fun.
Him being a 1-season villain is just like
disappointing.
That's a shame. He should have been from season 2 minimum, but yeah.
But I think I need to get going.
You can't squeeze in 3 more very quickly.
Okay, 3 more quickly.
Okay. Is Torrin Manderley going to get torn to death like Bartimos?
I think so.
I think so too. They're setting it up. The moment he called the small folk of Flea Bottom undesirable, I'm like, he's dead. Aemond Vhagar, I think we were just going to say, I hope Aemond does burn shit on Vhagar, and like that's kind of, he embraces his inner monster, and I hope it's not just purely House of the Misunderstanding. Vhagar does all of it, like, you know. And then finally, Maelor, if he only exists to give Helena a reason to kill herself, that's sadness.
Really
porn,
bad.
and I hate it.
Hate it.
And I'd rather just not have that plot line at all.
Agreed.
George R. Martin be screwed. Right. There we go. Live stream done. Quinn gotta flee.
What do you have going on? Plug yourself before we go.
Oh, yes. My name's... I've been plugging myself for the last 2.5 hours. No, it's very uncomfortable. No, Fancy Haven, subscribe to me. I do live streams with Quinn weekly. Next episode will be on my channel. I do live streams, a prediction stream tomorrow. Day after that, prediction stream with my friend Alex, who hasn't read Fire and Blood. And I work on weekly reviews and animated content. I'm currently working on the 20-minute animated history of House Hightower, which should have come out last week, but I am the Late Lord Haven. Subscribe to the channel to check it out.
Excellent. And I will have a very special video coming out tomorrow. You won't want to miss it. It's different than anything I've done before, but I think you all will hopefully like it. But I'll keep it a surprise for now, though. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably have some idea as to what this is. But be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we will have our stream for next week's episode on Haven's channel, and it will be probably later in the week because I am taking the bar exam on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's going to suck.
There we go. I heard you when you came back in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I talk over you while I couldn't hear you?
No, you didn't.
Oh, I just did my voice.
I was going to say, I did not know what you were talking about just then.
No,
all right.
Sorry.
Well, I will
Bye,
see
guys.
all of you in the very near future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
People always say we're live for a few seconds after I